of the council, Mayor Pitts. I know y'all have heard me once before, but I've got some more to say. I've been a lifetime member of our Ajax Turner Senior Center for 13 years. And one of my concerns for speaking to y'all is we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for somebody from city government to come and speak to the members only at our center to let us know what's going on and for the reasons behind for Parks and Rec's taking over our center. Ajax Turner's been a nonprofit. This year's 61 years. We've been operating under a nonprofit for that length of time. And our members are worried that the future of changing this now, when everything's been working up until this point for that many years. And there's been a long list of violations been given to News Channel 5. And if I'm not mistaken, the way I understand it is, we work off a lease from the city of Clarksville. So in the way I look at it and the way I was raised, when I see something like that, it says, I think the city, being that it's their building and we lease it, are responsible for repairs in that building. And some of the violations that are listed, the city maintenance actually done those repairs. So that's kind of on the side there that just doesn't make a lot of sense. And it shouldn't be the expense of the Ajax Turner Center to have to do those repairs because it's a city-owned building. And the very last thing I want to bring up is about our members. We've got many, many, many good programs going on at that center that covers a lot of our seniors. But I'm going to point out one individual group, and a lot of them are in this room today. I don't know if any of y'all know anything about pool or billiards, as they call it, or your relatives that know anything about it. But when I came there in 2013, before they built the new addition, which was a $2.5 million addition paid for by the city under the Miss Kim McMillan's leadership. And that building itself was built strictly for a senior center, the way it was designed and set up. But getting back to the pool thing and billiards, myself and Mr. Ed Poston come there in 2014 or 2013. A year later, we got with all of our members in that room, and we decided that as members, and this is the kind of members you have there, that we would take donations up to help the center pay for that, for the pool tables, repairs and so forth. But since then, we've took in enough money that for 12 years, the center didn't have to take any money out of their budget to take care of that room. It cost somewhere between $900 and $1,000 per table in that room. We've got 8 now to just put the felt, the cover that you shoot on. $1,300 if you have to replace the rail rubbers that the balls hit. So that lets the center take the money that's in their budget to use in other areas of the center rather than to have to worry about that room. 6 of those tables in there, probably if you had to do the replacement on them, would be somewhere around $28,000. 6 of those tables these members bought. and donated to our 501(c) center.
Mr. Pulley, your 5 minutes is up. Thank you, sir.
I thank y'all very much.
Next
Mr.
name,
Pitts.
you're very
and,
welcome.
Y'all have a blessed afternoon.
Thank you. Next name on my list is Mr. Ross St. Louis. Mr. St. Louis, please, sir. If you would give us your name, and you'll have 5 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Ross St. Louis. Good afternoon, City Council members and Mayor Joe Pitts. It's good to see y'all this fine evening. I realize that a lot of people are here to talk about the Senior Citizen Center, and I felt there was something else that I needed to bring up. I reviewed over this budget proposal that you brought forth to us, Mr. Mayor, and I didn't see a whole lot in there for as far as raising salaries for our firefighters and our police officers. Now, I realize that we are a growing city, but I think that our budget is just not enough for them. I've spoke with both Chief Burdine and Chief Montgomery, and I've showed them some of these numbers, and some of these numbers are very troubling. I have numbers here for the top 10 cities in the state of Tennessee that shows population and how much their police department and how much their fire department, what they start their people at. Now, these numbers are for police officers that are non-post certified, and these are also for fire cadets. That means these guys have no experience whatsoever. They are just joining the department. Of course, with our population, current numbers, of course, they're varying, but our current population number is 176,456. Our police department is now making $57,712 a year for a brand new police officer, non-post certified. Our firefighters come in with no training whatsoever. Their starting pay is $44,000. Now, I've seen some of these numbers here, and I'm going to point out a few. Hendersonville is the number 10 city with the highest population in the state of Tennessee. Hendersonville's population is 63,091 people. Their starting police officer pay, non-post certified, is $61,025. Their starting firefighter, fire as a cadet, $51,940. That is a huge difference. For the police officer, that is over $4,000 difference. And as for a firefighter, that is a $7,000 difference. I think that our firefighters and our police officers deserve more. And whether it's done through the budget or whether it is rearranged in our budget where we can cut something from somewhere else to give our first responders a little bit more for what they need, for what the jobs they do. And let me tell you, they've been to my house several times. Once this year, my house is, when you walk in the front door, there's a hallway right there. So you turn left, you go down to my bedroom, and you can't fit a gurney in there to go into where, so let me give you an example. So last time they came to my house, I had lost all feeling in my legs and I could not walk whatsoever. So they came to my house and the paramedics tried to come in. They can't bring the gurney in because there's no way for it to fit around the corner to get back to my room. So firefighters, paramedics, and police officers all had to come into my house to carry me from my bedroom out to the ambulance. And let me tell you, I am not a very small man. I weigh close to 400 pounds. I'm not proud to admit that, but you get what I'm saying. I'm not very small. I'm not very big, I'm not very small. So it took 8 people altogether to carry me on a tarp from my bedroom. It's not a tarp. I don't know the official name of it. It is not they took 8 people to carry me from my bedroom out to the gurney to get me into the ambulance. And those officers and those firefighters, they worked very, very hard to get me out of my own place. I think that our firefighters and our police officers deserve more. They need more, because some of these numbers are very, very troubling, and I'll be more than happy to share them with you if you want to see the numbers. It's very bad. So I think our guys need more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. St. Louis. Next name on my list, Ms. Jill Crow. Ms. Crow, if you'll give us your name, you'll have 5 minutes.
Before I start, I want to personally say thank you to the city council members present and past, and all the mayors present and past who have voted financially to help the Ajax Turner Senior Center over the years. Good evening, council members and the Honorable Mayor Pitts. My name is Jill Turner Crow. I'm the daughter of Ajax Turner. Our family made a huge financial gift to the city of Clarksville to help with adding an addition to the present Ajax Turner Senior Center over 30 years ago. This gift was given with the idea that the center would continue as a nonprofit 501c3 organization, always serving the senior population in Montgomery County. I'm here to voice my concerns as to what Mayor Pitts has done. I'm an old lady, and I've been around a long time. As many of you know, I've been involved in many nonprofits here in Montgomery County, and I have never witnessed a situation like this taking place. Mayor Pitts served the center with a registered letter terminating the center's lease. They had only 90 days to vacate. Wow, what a blow to the staff, to the members, to the friends of the center, and to the community. They had no knowledge of this. This is wrong, it's unprofessional, and a lack of good leadership to treat an organization that has been serving the senior community in Montgomery County since 1966. Mayor Pitts thinks Parks and Rec can do a better job. Can they? Ask yourself that question. Can they? Mayor Pitts used his power of his office to do this. He did not seek approval from any public body or the city council. And I don't think even you all knew about it at our last council meeting. You were all surprised that this was happening. The mayor has also asked the center to leave all our nonprofit assets. That will never happen. These assets belong to the nonprofit 501c3. So a vacant building you will get. That means more money to be added to the city budget because you'll have to furnish the building completely, even the light bulbs. I hope the council members understand this. You know, all this reminds me of junior high and high school. He said, she said, they said, we said. Why not work together? This is so crazy what's been going on. So I'm calling on Mayor Pitts to reverse the termination of our lease, to seek proper city council approval for any actions facing the center, and engage with the Ajax Turner Senior Center under a new board, please, all working together and partnering together for the betterment of our senior population. The seniors of Clarksville deserve a mayor and a city council that will work together to preserve the Ajax Turner Senior Center for our nonprofit organization and the community that it serves. I have one more point I'd like to make. We have no problem working with Parks and Rec. I want you that understood. We welcome the opportunity, but we do not want to be under the umbrella of Parks and Recreation and city government. And one last comment. This is to Mayor Pitts and the City Council. I'm willing to roll up my sleeves and go to work myself to make this center shine, but with a new board and a new vision, and we all can do this. Thank you.
Thank you. The next name on the list, Ms. Rita Alsop. If you will state your name, and you'll have 5 minutes.
Rita Alsop. I was going to address the city council tonight. However, one of the other people behind me, they have the exact.
You are registered, you'll be speaking, and if you don't wish to speak, then we'll go to the next name on the list.
Can I not give my minutes to
No, you
somebody
cannot.
else?
You have to
Okay, I
register
would like
ahead of
to.
time.
Okay, I would like to address the city attorney. So the city attorney has taken, he's not reached out to our attorney to where they're conversing backwards and forwards about anything that is actually happening with the center. I would also like to address that whenever I first began, I came in and I met with the mayor. We were there with the board, and whenever we did like the initial meet and greet, it was said to me from the mayor, Lisa Canfield was present, and Halford was there actually, that there were issues that were going on previously in the center for years, and that nothing that was going to be held, I was not going to be held accountable for anything that had happened prior to me, that I was walking into something that I knew that I would have to clean up. So with that being said, I rolled my sleeves up, got into the center, and I have worked very diligently on getting the center back on track. I walked into a building that had numerous things that were wrong with them. I'm talking from mechanical problems, just everything throughout the center. We had staff that were on board that I spoke with the mayor about on a few occasions that were giving me pushback. I have terminated some of the people. They went ahead and reached out to the mayor. The mayor has encouraged people that throughout the center, whenever I told them, they were complaining about, like for instance in the card room, somebody was complaining about someone's phone ringing. This is how trivial this is about the complaints that came to the mayor's office. So he has entertained, rather than throwed them back towards us by stating, I don't handle this, go back and see Miss Rita or see the board. He has entertained all these people that have came over there. I have not had the opportunity to reach out to these people that are coming and complaining because they do not come to me. He's opened his door, he's gave his cell phone number out, and these people continue to reach out to him making complaints. Rather than stay within the building, he's entertaining it. I need the city council to step up and help this center. We would like to remain in that center. We are over 1,400 people strong there. We have got people there that have got dementia, Alzheimer, and several other illnesses. These people rely on this place for food, 3 hot meals a day. Some only get these 3 hot meals a day. Others have stayed in their home and could not come out to actually see anybody because they had different kind of disabilities, got the courage to come up to that center and make friends. With that being said, are you really going to let this happen? I'm asking you, are you going to close this center as far as being a nonprofit at that location, knowing that you've got all these people that you're going to be affecting, and what's going to happen to them? For those that are in depression, that rely on us, there are some that are in the vision impaired room, your mother to be included. She actually is a very lovely person. We have a lot of people that are there in the center that need our help. We have people that are hard of hearing. We have had people come in there to do free testing. We've done a lot of things for these members in that building. I think that it's very unfair that you are trying to terminate our lease and have us move to either pack up and move, or we can no longer be in that building. We have got too many people that are relying on us, homeless people and everybody. Thank you.
Next name on the list is Mr. W.L. Burnett, former city council member. Mr. Burnett. served, I believe, for 20 years on the Clarksville City Council. Mr. Burnett, if you would give us your name, and you'll have 5 minutes.
I might overrun that 5 minutes.
Well, we got a timer on you.
W.L. Burnett, and I'm here begging for time because everybody I talk to at the center don't know what's going on. We know it's going to be put on the recreation department, but nobody knows why. And I'm here tonight hoping that I can get my letter that I sent to the mayor. I requested that we do an audit, but I found out they had an audit. I just got it yesterday, and I'm still reading it. So I'm begging for time. And the center's a good place. You'd be surprised at the number of people that's there every day. And just to show you that, I want the people that from the center to stand. That'll give you an idea. It's not a, thank you. They have money in the bank. They don't owe anyone. They don't have any bills. Now, what's the problem? We don't know. So give us some time so we can find out what these problems are. We got a lot of veterans here. If there's a problem there, they can fix it if we know what it is. And I'm begging for time so we can find out what the problem is, fix the problem, and continue operating as Ajax Center. I appreciate your thank you.
Thank you. Next name on the list is Ms. Lois Grider. If you'll state your name, you'll have 5 minutes.
Hello, everyone. It's good to see you all again. I'm Lois Grider, and I'm here just to kind of touch base on some concerns. Had we been able to submit a budget for the center this year, our budget was pretty close to what it was for last year. It is under $900,000, as opposed to the mayor's, 1.3 or 1.6? I could never get a clear total. But that's a lot of money in my book. Now, in regards to the daycare, the adult daycare, I got curious and started checking around, and nowhere in the state of Tennessee did I find another city-run senior center that had the adult daycare. So I randomly called centers across the state, literally. Some didn't know about it, others considered it, but the one thing that was always mentioned when they said no was the liability that program would cause for the city. Now, we try to be very frugal, and with the mayor hiking taxes, taking away money from schools, but with us, he acts like he's got a money faucet. And Miss Crow was not lying. If we leave, or are forced to leave, everything in that building, right down to every light bulb that was purchased by grants, is leaving. So the mayor is going to have no choice but to come back and ask for more money just to turn the lights on. Now, to me, this is absolutely insane. But the one thing I will tell you that we definitely need help with is in putting in a functioning board. One that works with us, one that works to support us, and yes, at times guide us. We need good people on this board. And we've not had that. For the better part of 2 years, there's been 4 people. Now, we've had some come and go, and some which would have been very good members, but because of the leadership, it all falls apart. And just to mention, 3 of the 4 board members all attend the same church and was appointed by one of your city officials. This is what we have been fighting. We're in a no-win situation. And we desperately are asking for your help to put a functional board so we can actually function the way we should be. There's a lot of good people at stake here. It's the only home that a lot of people have known for a place to go, friendship, and now start all over. And the bottom line is the mayor and the city just can't do what we do. Thank you.
Thank you. We will convene regular session at 6 PM. May 7th, 2026 regular session of the Clarksville City Council is now called to order. Elder Lashika Thomas with In Christ Ministries will serve as our chaplain of the day. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilman Tim Chandler. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to please stand for the prayer and pledge.
To the mayor, council members, Father, creator of heaven and earth, keeper of all wisdom, we come before you this day with humility, honor, acknowledging that you alone are sovereign. Your word declares in Romans 13:1, there is no authority except for which God has established. So today, we recognize every seat, every title, every responsibility in this room has been allowed by your divine power. Father, we pause to say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to serve. We thank you for the opportunity to trust people. And thank you for the weight of the responsibility that calls us to walk uprightly. Now, Lord, we invite your presence into this meeting. Let your spirit of wisdom rest upon every council member, every leader, every voice represented here. According to your word, grant us the wisdom that is pure, peaceable, and gentle, and full of good fruit. Father, we ask you, would you order our thoughts, guide our conversations, and govern our decisions? Where there is division, bring unity. Where there is confusion, bring clarity. Where there is pressure, bring peace. Help every decision made in this room reflect justice, integrity, compassion for the people who are called to serve. Let no personal agenda override the greater good. Let no pride hinder progress. Let no voice of truth be silent. Father, we pray for this city, every neighborhood, every family, every business, every school. We lift up those who are struggling, those who feel unheard, and those who are depending on the outcomes of this decision made today. Let righteousness be our foundation of our leadership. Let accountability remain the forefront of our actions. And Lord, cover this meeting with your grace. Protect our hearts, mind of those who are gathered. Respect the order that is governed in this place. Let excellence be our standard. And when this meeting concludes, let it be said that all things were done decently and in order, and that the work accomplished here was pleasing in your sight. We seal this prayer with gratitude, expectations, trusting that you are with us, guiding us, and establishing our steps. We ask all these things in Jesus' holy and precious name. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Members, please register your attendance. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
All members are present with the exception of Councilman Haywood.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We do have one special recognition we want to make. They say April showers bring May flowers, but May also brings Mental Health Awareness Week. And it is my honor to present to Tennessee Voices, the representatives here for Tennessee Voices. They're out in the hallway. Are they coming in, Sergeant? Okay. We're ready for them. Thank you for being here.
No problem.
It is our honor to present to you this proclamation declaring this week as Tennessee Voices Mental Health Awareness Week, and boy, do we need it. And so we call upon all citizens, educators, and community leaders to join in this vital mission to prioritize mental health education and foster open dialogue and ensure that every student has the tools to navigate their emotional journey with confidence. And it's my honor to present this to you. And if you don't mind, just introduce yourself and just say a few words, please.
Hello, I'm Lashika Edwards with ICC here in Montgomery County.
Hello, I'm Veronica Williams. I am the care coordinator on the ICC team with Tennessee Voices.
Hi, I'm Robin Ochoa. I am a family support specialist for Tennessee Voices.
Tell us a little bit about Tennessee Voices.
We specifically work with the ICC program. It is a intensive care coordination program. Right now we serve all counties in Tennessee. We are a team of two. Each team has a care coordinator, which is what I do, and we have a family support specialist, which is what these two ladies do. We serve ages 0 to 21. I know that sounds crazy, but we literally do. We come in and we work with everyone in the home, the parent, the actual youth that is on the referral, any family members that are in the home, if there's children, if they're adults. We come in and we basically provide support. We work in the court system, we work in the school systems, we work with providers, basically just providing anything that the families need. If kids are having trouble in school, we've been to IEP meetings, we work with probation officers, parole officers, anything that the family needs in order for the children or the family to progress, we come in and we get that done. We're
Resources for cars.
everything.
Yeah, everything.
If they have they need help with financial things, school things, finding housing, any type of resource you can think of. We come in, and if we can't provide it, we find someone who can, so that they can, like I said, progress. So that's basically what we do for ICC and its intensive care coordination. That's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And let's get a picture or it never happened.
So true. Thank you.
Thank you so
No,
much.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Next item on our regular session agenda is Planning Commission public hearing. Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Madam Clerk, will you read the ordinances before us tonight? Mayor, no, I was right, never mind. I got it right this time, sorry.
I'm confused. I got you.
I got it. Ordinance 51, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of CJH Properties for a zone change on 1182 Rossview Road from R1 Single Family Residential District to C1 Neighborhood Commercial District. Ordinance 58, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Infinity Investment for a zone change on a parcel located on the western frontage of 7 Mile Ferry Road, 1,450 plus or minus feet south of its intersection with Pumping Station Road, from R1 Single Family Residential District to R3 Three Family Residential District. Ordinance 72, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Richard Garrett for a zone change on a property located on the northwest corner of the intersection of Trenton Road and Hayes Street from R1 Single Family Residential District to O1 Office District. Ordinance 73, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Raul Lozano for a zone change on property located along the eastern frontage of Center Road, 180 plus or minus feet south of its intersection with Britton Springs Road, from RM1 Single Family Mobile Home Residential District to R4 Multiple Family Residential District. Ordinance 74, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of KNW Investments, a general partnership, for a zone change on property located along the northern frontage of Marion Street, 153 plus or minus feet west of its intersection with Ford Street, from R3 Three Family Residential District to R6 Single Family Residential District. Ordinance 75, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Paul Richard Pinkstaff for a zone change on property fronting on the east frontage of Fantasy Lane, 325 plus or minus feet north of the Fantasy Lane and Candlewood Court intersection from R1 Single Family Residential District to R1A Single Family Residential District.
Councilman Streetman.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, two things. One, need to make a clarifying statement regarding statement from the executive session. Would I do that now or do that during when we're making the motion to vote?
If you would make, as we get to the one where you need to clarify, please speak up and clarify it on that particular case.
After public hearing?
Yeah, please.
And then in regards to public hearing, I know you're aware that we're at capacity in here, so we do have individuals, could potentially have individuals in the hallway or outside that are intending to speak for or against. We're going to allow a little bit more time.
Yeah, we'll try to find them and get them in here as quick as we can.
Thank you, sir. Mayor, I move we go into public hearing.
Motion been made and properly seconded to revert to public hearing. Without objection, we are now in public hearing. First item on our public hearing list is item A, ordinance 51, 2025-26, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of CGH properties. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of ordinance 51? If you would, give us your name and you'll have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Council. Grayson Smith, represent the ownership group. As y'all know, we brought an R3 zoning for this property a few months ago, and based on conversations that were had, we pulled it back, ended up submitting, had some meetings, met with the council person, and ended up submitting C1 zoning, which is in line with the growth plan for the Planning Commission put out. Planning Commission staff and the Planning Commission both recommended approval, and I respectfully request your approval on this too. I'm here to answer any questions y'all have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Smith. Any questions for Mr. Smith? Seeing none, thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of ordinance 51? Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak against ordinance 51? If you'll give us your name and you'll have 5 minutes.
Name's Chris Gwynn. I own the house right beside it, 1190. And I don't know what changing it to a commercial is going to be any better than a residential home, because there was a home there, and I don't know why they took it down. If you change it to commercial, they could put anything there. I don't know what they're going to put on a half an acre as far as commercial, but the traffic, I can't even get out of my driveway there to go left. I have to go right, turn around down by the school, and then go out. It's impossible to get out the red light. So if you do a commercial, you're going to have people in and out of that thing. Like, you're just going to cause a traffic jam. And I just don't understand why they even took the house down in the first place. I don't know. I'm trying to get them to sell it to me and get rid of it so they don't have to deal with the lot, because you can't get in and out of there at all. I don't know. I mean, the school can because they got a red light, but if I had it, I could take a driveway out the back of the place. But, that's his choice. I can't tell him to do that. But like I said, if you change it to commercial, he can put anything there as far as, because the building and codes will allow commercial to go over to the property lines, which is going to be right on top of me. So I just hope you don't let them put commercial there. I know they want to or whatever, but it's just going to cause a traffic jam. But like I said, y'all do what you want, but I wish you would not vote for this. All right, thanks.
Hang on, let's see if anybody has any questions for you. You say Glenn is your last name?
G-U.
Gwen.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
G-U-I-N-N.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Gwynn? Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak against ordinance 51? All right, our city code allows for rebuttal. If you're in favor of ordinance 51, we allow one person to speak in rebuttal for ordinance 51 if you're in favor and would like to address anything that was said. One person, 3 minutes. Mr. Smith, if you'll state your name again, and you'll have 3 minutes this time.
Awesome, thank you. Grayson Smith. I guess I'll address the concern about traffic. We won't be accessing Rossview Road. I know that was really part of that property is we can't access Rossview Road, and we'll have to basically push it down Dunbar Cave Road as far as we can on our property. So won't be accessing Rossview Road.
Questions for Mr. Smith? Councilman Lovato, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to clarify, this is going to be commercial, nothing residential.
It is, yes, ma'am.
That's all.
Other questions for Mr. Smith? Thank you, sir. If you're against Ordinance 51 and wish to offer rebuttal, we have room for one person to speak for 3 minutes. I sense a pattern here. Mr. Gwynn, if you'll give us your name again, you have 3 minutes.
Chris Gwynn. I'll make it quick. But he's saying that he's not going to access the road off of Rossview, which makes sense, but Dunbar Cave, his lot ain't half-acre lot. It can't be 100 feet long, so he's still going to be right at the traffic light trying to come out to the right. It's backed up every time I go over there. You can't come out. So trying to go left would be trying to cross over all the traffic that's parked in front of it. So it's going to be impossible either way you go. So that's all.
Any questions for Mr. Gwynn? Excuse me. All right, thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Next item is item B, Ordinance 58, 2025-26, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Infinity Investment, LLC. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of Ordinance 58? If you would, give us your name, and you know the drill. 5 minutes.
City Council, Ricky Rita. Hi, good evening. 5 minutes is not a lot to talk on this case. I don't think y'all have been quite aware, talked about on what's on the project. It starts out a lot telling us stuff on the project that don't exist. We try to work with one another and not against each other. When we come in here for zonings and we get in front of the staff and they don't like it, they work against it. They tell you some of the story and they don't tell you the whole process. The builders talk about it, the developers talk about it, and the engineers talk about it. This is more with the staff of the commission. Once they make their mind up, they stretch it. They don't tell you everything you want to hear. There was a gentleman that asked about how many lots the R1 has now. It's 52. It was a guess at 40. I'm going to go off the 40 number tonight with my math. I'll do that in a rebuttal. So we'll go with the 40 lots. And we'll stay at the R1. Right now on the R1, all our traffic studies, it lets us go down that road 1,450 foot. We have 5 foot of easement. It was spoken by the street department director, one of my friends. He just spoke and didn't know it. That would have to be property purchased because there was no easements on it. The email that I sent over, it clearly got a 5 foot easement. The shallowest part is 16 foot. We're gonna pave it 1,450 foot. And we don't have to do anything else. We don't have to put any infrastructure at the highway because the traffic study says it's okay. Tonight I asked you for R3 zoning so we can add infrastructure up there with the extra 22 lots. So we get 74 lots on the R3 zoning. We get 52 on the R1. I'm willing to build them 40 on that hill. I'll go to that math in a little bit. This is business. This is putting infrastructure in so the residents of Clarksville does not have to pay the taxes in 5 to 10 years to rebuild that intersection. Everyone in here that spoke on it talks about how rough it is. What I am suggesting, I've got the property to the north on contract. When we turn on North 7 Mile Ferry, I got to go 200 foot forward. I got to add 8 inches of pavement. I sent you pictures. It's an average of 8 inches on the west side of that road for 200 foot. We're flat, we're level. Remind you, I go 1,450. I'm climbing my hill, but I can get it in there. Here I'm flat, we're safe. The most important thing, it's been spoke of, emergency vehicles, buses. None of them can go down this road right now. There's nowhere to turn around. It's private property. Once I go 200 foot on 7 Mile Ferry for 22 more lots, I get emergency vehicles on that road. I get buses on that road. The few kids that have to walk up that historic road that's 16 foot wide, what about them? We're going to I'm offering to put sidewalks from the 200 foot of 7 Mile Ferry sidewalks to the bypass. I'm willing to put the turning lane at the stop sign. I'm willing to do the state center and do the turning lane out like there, like they did up the street across from Avondale. That was a Bryce Powers. Rough terrain, made it work. Some of the pictures I sent y'all had drains crossing the road. That's from the hilly stuff that was said they don't like the pass. We know how to create the water. These engineers know what they're doing. You're going to get a lot of people that live on the road that aren't going to like this. I'm a boat member. I'm a owner of the Clarksville Boat Club. It's been on the market for 14 years. We gave $375,000 for it. I'm going to round it off to $400,000. When I come back, I'm going to do some mathematics. And I'm going to show you why it makes sense to let me put $1.1 million of infrastructure on this property, going to the bypass, than letting me stick with 40 lots and putting only my infrastructure in that I have to. I've worked well with my word. I built $1 million road on Bell Road, on Needmore Road. We've done a lot.
Mr. Rita, your time is up. We do have a question. Councilman Shekina, you're recognized for Mr. Rita.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. And thank you for that, Mr. Reader. I did have some questions about widening the road, but you addressed those. A turn lane. I know you said you're going to put a lot of money into infrastructure, 1.something million, 1.1 or 1.4 million, but I don't think you addressed the turn lane. Is that part of it? I know at the RPC that a lot of the people were talking about turning. They had a hard time turning.
Thank you, sir. I'll clear that up. The R1 that I have now, I'm going to have 1.6 in infrastructure development. That includes the subdivision, and that includes paving 1,450 roads to the 1,450 foot to the stop sign. With the traffic study I have, that's all I spend. It's a $2 million project. Lots are worth $125 apiece. 40 lots, $5 million. It took a long time to be able to get banks to let me, get me to sign that kind of paperwork on a signature. It don't happen overnight. So the developers come in, they use money, and they make money. I'm willing to give back some profit on those extra 22 lots. So so if I get R3, I'm figuring that to be a total 2.6 project, 1.1 going into your infrastructure that I'm speaking of. That is the stop sign. When you're traveling North 7 Mile Ferry, sir, and you're leaving, you hit Pump Station Road and you come down to the stop sign, you're at the bypass. We've heard how congested it is. I'm going to put turning lanes that side, and I want to put one with the state, just like they did up there on Evanston Ferry in that subdivision coming up from Avalon Hill. They put a nice turning lane in. They made it work. It's 1.1 million, and that's putting the sidewalk from my subdivision to the bypass, fixing that stop sign with all the turning lanes, and putting a turning lane on the state. With the R3 zoning, I get $100,000 a lot, 74 lots, 7.4 million. We raised 2.4 million. I'm putting 1.5 back into the city. This is going to have to be done. It's going to have to be done in 5, 6, 10 years, 15 years, and the taxpayers are going to pay for it. The developers of Clarksville, the home builders of Clarksville, and the state of Tennessee have put more city infrastructure in the last 20 years than the city has. Let us continue to invest our money into the properties.
Councilman Shekina, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Reader, and thank you, Mayor. That gives me clarity on the
Okay.
questions that I had.
Councilman Lovato, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Rita, I appreciate you being here. I always appreciate what you're offering to do for the community. And I believe that you're a good steward of what you do. This particular item came in front of the RPC 3 different times, and it kept getting deferred. But all 3 times, those neighbors came up, and they spoke very highly of you, and you spoke very highly of them, but they are adamant that this would be detrimental over there. I believe that your intentions of widening the road and all the plans that you have, I believe they are good, but they're contingent on private contracts and the sale of land. I know you're under contract for the neighboring land, but you're going to have to purchase property to widen that road. And for that reason, because they are so adamant against it, and because there are things out of your control and out of the control of this city council on those sales, that's why I have to be a no right now. So I just wanted to tell you, I really do commend how you and the neighbors have cooperated with each other and the things that you all have said. And this is a really difficult no for me, but I just wanted to tell you I appreciate you.
Councilman Holloman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. So I am going to be against this, Mr. Rita. No matter what you do to that section, it's gonna add traffic and it's gonna make things worse, whether it's R1 or it's R3. R3 is not really doing anybody favors. You know, like 30% of the homes bought in 2025 were investors. So like, you know, like they're not even like leveling out the market because they're competing with large scale companies as far as first time home buyers go. You know, and another point I guess I could make is, you know, high residential. Like I've been up here, at the end of this year, I'll be up here on the council for 8 years. And during those 8 years, we've had pretty much just like complete uncontrolled growth. I've been pretty generous for voting for y'all's rezones. But because of that crazy uncontrolled growth and mixing it with national socioeconomic issues that are going on, you know, now we got like a 30% tax increase, property tax increase coming up that we got to go. And yes, that is directly correlated to our unbridled growth. But I am going to be a no. So thank you.
Any more Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Rita, I know when you first brought it to the RPC, you had talked about, because this is why I deferred it the first time it came through. You talked about connecting to Kingsbury Drive, being a bigger road, being able to get a lot through there. Whatever happened with that potential?
I think we educated the commissioner of the regional planning, and he spoke at an executive meeting that actually that's just not a river flood, that's a staging flood, and you'd have to build a bridge across it.
I knew that's what he said, I just wasn't sure.
Prior to him saying that comment, Ms. Streetman, he said he would get back to up on the hill on the contract that we have on the property. He never did get back on it. We line on what we want, and we don't tell the whole facts. So that would have been a great time to say, we're not building in nowhere near the flood stage. We're way off the flood stage. We're 100 foot high. It's tough.
Thank you, sir.
Councilman Clont, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, Mr. Reed, I appreciate you coming in, and I appreciate you adjusting numbers and being transparent with profits and losses. Affordable housing isn't, in my respectful opinion to you and what you do, on that plot of land in 7 Mile Ferry Road. Right? I have paperwork right here that says the average house price in Tennessee right now is $326,000. I wouldn't want you to pin down an actual number of what you're going to sell those for, but is it higher than that, lower than that, pretty close to that?
It's 325 to 375.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So,
And they do that off of square footage. So normally, you know, if you have a 1,650 square foot home and you've done it by $200 a square foot, 3.340, and quick neighbor, quick math.
no, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you know what the average income is of a Clarksvillian?
I'm gonna probably say, if I was going to it, average 38.9. Can I get the answer?
Yeah, I mean, you're right there.
Yes,
You know,
yes, sir.
again, this was data that I pulled that was from a year ago, but it's, depending on who you pull it from, it's 39 to 42, 43. That's not affordable housing in Clarksville, Tennessee. I do appreciate very much that we have developers now wanting to have a different type of conversation. Understanding my time on this council is very short, but working together with the city to come up with viable solutions. So I commend you for that, sir. But this is going to be a no for me as well.
I appreciate it. I don't know if I'd put S on the end of that developers. A lot of them aren't willing to put this stuff in. They're forced to put it in.
It's fair.
Uh-huh. I am putting 40 lots in there. There's 40 homes that are going up on top of that hill with no infrastructure at that road, and the traffic survey says I can do it without doing that. We're again asking for 22 lots to put the infrastructure there that's going to be there for life of all of us. I ask that you make the right decision in the financing of the city. Think about where we're at today with the city. We're not in a good place. Sir, may the angels bless you. I know the last 10 weeks have been really rough on you, and thanks for your time here, sir.
Hang on, we got one more point. Councilman Holloman, you're recognized.
Yeah, R1 undeveloped would still be better than R3 developed. Like, people that live in, like, the Kingsbury area, they don't, what is that road? Gatlin Road? They don't use Gatlin Road. They have to go down to Edmondson Ferry because the traffic turnout's so bad. And so, like, I know for a fact, like, if this goes R3, it's going to be the same story, except probably worse because then they're not going to have any cut-throughs. So.
It's okay if it stays R1, but there's no turning lanes up around that bypass. There's nothing. We're adding 80 cars to that road with no infrastructure. Our traffic report says we're not in harm of any way, guys. So we get R1 with 40 lots. They're going in on that road.
I don't buy the traffic report. So,
well, that's
Councilman Holloman,
yes,
you have
sir.
the
I
floor.
respect that, sir.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of ordinance 58? Thank you. If you would give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Council. And Mayor, William Lang, Billy Lang, 19 Love Street. I've been really dug in lately in learning this coding of the city and the comprehensive plan of the city. When I look at, I was at the RPC when this went through. I am for this property. And I used to live off the bypass. Density over there is, and we know it's a state highway, it's terrible. When we got a builder and a developer willing to put that much money that it doesn't affect the taxpayers, it kind of makes sense whenever I'm looking at it, because my other home that I used to live in, I still own it, is on Powell Road, which is in Stacy Treatment's ward. We had over 800 homes, and then we added all that density to that one road. Same difference, same deal. Comprehensive plan passed it. We put another exit out of it. I know he can't do an exit out of there to Kingsbury Road because I used to live over there, and I owned that home till about 10 years ago. I was kind of in between this, but whenever I look at the money of a builder and developer, I think that's where we come short in this city, because I've been in this body of people all the time going back and forth, back and forth. And then we look at that same property they spoke on a minute ago that's over off of Needmore Road. They put all that money into that, and they made it to where it worked, and we passed it. I think this is a good thing. He's still going to put 40 homes. Well, the answer to that, Stacy did ask that question at the RPC, and it was 52. That density is still going to be there. And as we look, Holloman, you can want to be for it or against it. It's coming. This city is growing every day. Thank y'all.
Questions for Mr. Lang? Councilman Streetman, you're recognized. Mr. Lang?
Mine's not
Mr.
so
Lang?
much a question. It's in regard to, you mentioned the Powell Road and saying it's the same situation. I was opposed to that one.
Okay.
And
But-
I fought hard against that and lost that battle.
But we let the new development go in.
I was only one vote.
Okay.
But
But
I
I'm
was
just
just
saying,
pointing
it's
out
the
to
same
you-
kind of density over on Rossview Road, that we got in density on the bypass. So whenever I look at it, and I'm learning, y'all, this is like great for me, because when I go to the comprehensive plan of the city, and I'm telling y'all, I remember every meeting that you see me here. And when I learned to poke the bear a little bit, but my councilman made me understand it is a process. And I look at these builders and developers in this city, and they spend lots of money in development. We have these situations all over the city, and that's a state highway. We've never done nothing on that road. But we got 40 homes that can go in there anyway. He's willing to upgrade it, take that expense off this city and the taxpayers. I think this is a good deal. Stacy, and I'm sorry about that, so.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak against ordinance 58? Yes, sir. We have room for 2 people, and we'll get one at a time. If you'll give us your name, and you'll have 5 minutes.
Good evening. I'm Jeff Fletcher. I live at 1021 Pumping Station and 1111 7 Mile Ferry Road. I've sent several letters to the council on this issue. Like I said, Mr. Regis talking about this project was contingent on the Gatlin Road. Now it's contingent on another road, another piece of property that's not officially been purchased or whatever they're working on there. And all these things about turning lanes, it's still going to have to cross the bypass. So unless there's some type of street light down there, which we've talked to the state, the council and state before, they said they're not putting one there. You're still going to have traffic trying to turn left. So I'm asking council, what's a life worth? Is it worth this 1.1 billion that he's going to put in investments to make the property better, or are we going to worry about somebody's life trying to get across the left lane? Mr. Lang spoke. He don't really have a dog in the fight. He doesn't live there. He just have to try to cross that traffic in the morning rush and afternoon rush. Turning left is taking your life in your hand. You have to go right and turn around and come back to go that direction. Now approximately, I guess everyone knows, it's a single entrance road. It comes off the bypass. There's no other entrances or exits, so everything's got to come off and on that hill. There's less than 10 families there now, and the traffic from the water plant. And, we have a nightmare getting in and out. Even if you had lanes, you still got to cross turn left, and that's not helping for anything. The road is deemed unsafe for buses. I know he's talking about putting the sidewalks down there to the buses, but the buses still got to come in off the bypass and pick children up, which will be standing down close to the highway. So that's very unsafe as well. And if he doesn't get contingent on the other property and the property goes in on the lower half of the 7 Mile Ferry Road, we got issues with drainage and stuff there. So, it's going to have to be drainage issues, drains, sidewalks and things like that put in there. The sewage, I know that they're talking about putting in a pumping station for the sewage. I'm not sure how these sewage, we've tried to get sewage up there before on the pumping station road. And the main water lines are left and right side of 7 Mile Ferry. I don't know what the process is across those water lines, but we've been told before that we couldn't have sewage. So I'm not sure where this sewage and pump station's going to connect. That's all. I just asked that we, I know it's a lot of money, but we got to think about people's lives trying to cross this road and stuff. Unless there's some sort of deal with the state where there's lights put in there, I don't know how we can afford that traffic on this road. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Fletcher? Councilman Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Fletcher.
Yes, sir.
For coming
Ma'am.
forth with your thoughts and sharing with us. As he said, he can still put 40 units there
Yes, ma'am.
without adding the traffic, the stop sign or the pavement.
Mhm.
It's going to be worse. Still going to be bad. But if he add the 73, he's willing to go the extra mile to make it better on the infrastructure for the people that live in the neighborhood or in this community.
Yeah, I just feel it's totally unsafe to try to make that left-hand turn, especially off the bypass, unless there's some sort of light installed there, which, like I said, we tried before and have never had any luck with getting a light put there. I understand that it's going to go one way or the other, but we're trying to get as less as possible because, like I said, it's just a nightmare.
But, okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Chandler, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. You do realize that no matter what our vote is tonight, he's still going to be able to develop this?
Yes, sir, I realize he can put the R1 in.
So what's the difference, in your opinion, of R1 and he does nothing that he doesn't have to do or R3 and he tries to go the extra mile?
Well, R3 will just have more houses and more traffic there.
But you do realize R1's gonna add.
R1's gonna have it too. I realize he's gonna get it one way or the other.
Thank you.
But like I said, the other part, the part that he's doing now is still contingent on a piece of property that I don't think has purchased yet. Yes, sir.
Any more questions for Mr. Fletcher? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak against ordinance 58? If you would give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Virgil Nunn. Thank you, council, for what you do. I have been at every regional planning commission meeting that this has been a part of. I have spoke against it every time. I feel like the regional planning commission, Mr. Tyndall, and the commission did an excellent job. When they investigated this, they gave all the reasons why it should not be approved for an R3 zoning. We have never been against building going on up there. We understand it's zoned R1, and if that's the way we're going to go, then that's the way we'll go. But I don't think a lot of people in here have ever been down 7 Mile Ferry Road, that stretch. It's a pig path. I mean, it drops off really steep on one side. To even widen that road is going to be an undertaking that's just going to be, it's going to shut things down. There will not be able, you won't be able to get up and down that road. As it is now, 2 full-size pickups, somebody's got to get the ditch to go up and down that road. And, if he wants to do his R1 thing, that's fine, but we are just totally against that R3 zoning change, and that's all we've ever said.
Questions for Mr. Nunn? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It's time for rebuttal. If you're in favor of ordinance 58, we allow one person 3 minutes to offer rebuttal if you're in favor of ordinance 58. If you would, give us your name one more time, and you have 3 minutes.
Hi, Ricky Rita. I wish the ones that said they're not going to vote for it would reconsider. There's a traffic study that says this is typical. It's an E. It's typical. It's nothing out of the ordinary. There's worse intersections. There's worse intersections. Miss Carey, there's right-of-ways. There's no properties to be purchased for me to get that R1 to go up there out of this subdivision. There's nothing to be purchased. There's a 5-foot easement on the pavements there now, at least 1 foot extra, and we go in there and we develop it because that's what we do. What we are willing to do is enter north 7 Mile Ferry 200 foot, add sidewalks to the bypass, put the turn-in lane in on Pump Station Road, put the turn-in lane in on the bypass as they did across from Avondale, 1 mile up the road. Upgrade the sewer. So we're also putting sewer pumps in, brand new. These things last 30 years. There's a lot we're putting in. Mr. Holloman spoke, Councilman Holloman spoke. He said, I'm going to average 2 cars per unit. 40, that's 80 cars. With no extra help at all, because the traffic study says it's typical. I understand people don't like it, but they have an opportunity to buy it too. It's set on the MLS for 14 years. The city hasn't done a good job keeping that road up, or it wouldn't be 16 foot wide. The road elevation is in codes. I travel that road every day. If it wasn't in codes, it would be fixed. There's no end of the world there. You've seen the roads here, end of the world. You jump over them. None of that's going on. It's a gradual down there. I pull a 30-foot boat up and down that road. Yes, if somebody comes flying around the corner, you got to get out of the way. It's 16 foot wide. I'm going to fix that on R1, but we're going up that hill. We can make this so much easier. We could put $1.1 million of infrastructure in. I don't get the extra doors. I don't get why we wouldn't do that. As a group, I think we're failing when we don't put the money into our infrastructure. I think that's why today Mr. Pitts has been struggling for 10 weeks trying to figure out how this budget's gonna work, putting 30% taxes on property that's already boosted 30% on the market value. It just don't make sense to me. We need better. We need to work together. Thank you.
Questions for Mr. Rita? Councilman Holloman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Keep hearing this stuff about the traffic studies. You know what, didn't have a traffic study done and the street department approved it? East Johnson Circle. There's an apartment complex right in the middle of R1. And they said, no traffic study, they approved it. So like when we talk about traffic studies and I feel skeptical, like there's a pretty good reason for that. So.
If I could comment.
Yeah.
These are licensed engineers. These are friends from the business world. I don't play with them. I didn't grow up with them. They have a license. They have a duty to tell you what's there. We spent $2,700 on this traffic study. It's typical. I asked for your votes tonight. And Mr. Holloman, thank you, sir.
I mean, I know people with lots of licenses. That doesn't mean they're necessarily like qualified or smart. I mean, I'm not bashing anybody. Like, I got a bachelor's degree. I don't use it. Like, that doesn't make me any smarter or anything, So.
Councilman Peters, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Rita.
Sir.
I just want to say this, and I want everybody listening because I spoke against a development at the last sitting council because I live on a 1.7 mile road. On that road is 4 subdivisions, 2 churches, an elementary school, 3 daycare centers. It is a skinny, narrow road, but this council approved 274 houses to be built on that road and another 94 duplexes. That road backs up 1 mile every day trying to get to my house or get out of my house because a builder didn't take the opportunity to improve the roads. I've got to deal with that. So I appreciate the money that you want to put into this. And though I feel for the citizens that live out there, I don't know how we can sit here as a council and not support this. I mean, I think you guys need to take a hard look at this. It's going to be built on anyway. Why not get the infrastructure to go with it? I mean, I support it. I'm going to support it, and I hope others will support it. It's a good thing. When I compare what you want to do with what the developer did where I'm at, I wish he would have done these things. He didn't. So we pay for that every day when school lets out. You will be sitting there for about 30 minutes to go down a 1.7 mile road. And that road is Ringo Road, just so you guys know. And the subdivision I'm talking about isn't even built yet. So what are we going to do? So I appreciate what you're doing and I support it. That's all I got to say.
Councilman Brown, you're recognized.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Reed, I just have a question. You were saying R3, that'd be around $350,000.
Yes, sir.
So if you were to put the R1 in there, what kind of price range would those end up having to be justified for you doing it?
That would be a great question, sir. Lot values would go up $25,000 because they're bigger. And then the home goes up a little bigger because you got more room to put it on. So you're traveling around the 550, 600. And that's, if you look up our average today, it's about a 550. I do want to say, if I could, sir, when I started building I'm in my 18th year, I was 90% building in the city. That went on for 10 years. Today, I'm 85% county. Look up my permits. I'll never speak you wrong. We've had to move away. We've had to just kind of move away because we can't do things. I'm just here to help, sir, and I really want to put the infrastructure in for the allocations of the zoning.
Right. I understand that, and, just me thinking $350,000, I bought my house in '99, so I hadn't had to buy one in a long time. I just can't see that as affordable, but compared to a $500,000 one, that is more affordable.
Sir, it's our new number.
Yeah.
If I was going to say our new number today, I would put it at, it'd be guessing at $298 to $313, and you ain't not getting no cheaper in a brand new house.
And, the people today, I don't know how they can afford these houses,
Yes.
So, when we can try and make some that are a little closer to being what some people can afford, I kind of try and lean toward that. So, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. If you're against
Thank you,
ordinance, if you're against ordinance 58 and wish to offer rebuttal, we allow one person 3 minutes. Mr. Nunn, you have 3 minutes.
Yes, sir, Mr. Nunn. I've got one question for the city council. If we're going to have a regional planning commission, let them do all the work, the studies, the legwork, the recommendations, why would we go against their approval or disapproval? It seems to me like they do a pretty thorough job. They hit on all the bad points of this. So I don't understand why we'd have a planning commission if we go against their approval or disapproval.
Questions for Mr. Nunn? Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Nunn. Thank you for being here, and I'm your ward person. You've heard what Mr. Rita's had to say regarding improving the road, the infrastructure along there. What are your specific thoughts in regard to that?
Well, there was a lot of ifs, ands, and buts about this whole thing, and nothing's been done yet. And I'm a little bit skeptical about what we're saying we're going to do here. So that's just me.
Well, I've had lots of conversations in the last week regarding this property and gone back and forth on my thought on it. But I just wanted to hear what your thought was after hearing him speak and the comments by the council members in regarding to the infrastructure improvements. Okay, thank you, sir.
Any more questions for Mr. Nunn? Councilman Smith, you're recognized.
Mr. Nunn, you would rather have 40 units with no benefits. I'm just gonna say it like that, no benefits, because he said he's gonna put in 250 miles of sidewalk. I believe that's what he said. A turning lane. He was gonna upgrade the sewage over there. He was gonna put in a stop sign. If he do the 74 on the R3. So you'd rather have the 40 with no benefits to help your infrastructure over there, rather than to take the 74 with benefits.
As Mr. Fletcher said, we're looking for as less as possible.
Okay. Less help? Is that what you're saying? Less help? Less help?
Less houses up there, less dwellings up there on that hill.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nunn. Next item on our public hearing list is item C, ordinance 72, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Richard Garrett. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of ordinance 72? If you would, give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor. Richard Garrett. Good evening, council members. I had a packet passed out to everyone, and I believe it may have been also included in your packets. Just kind of explaining this project. Basically, we're looking at taking a single-family house and converting it into O1. If you look at the aerial map of the area, it shows that pretty much everything to the right side of me, or if you're facing the house, looking to the left, all of it's zoned C5 and has been recently approved. Then across the street, I've got O1, I've got some C5. I'm seeking O1 just because, for me, I'm just trying to make this into an office space. So it's just going to be a real estate office. I'm at a point where, we're tired of renting. We want to own something as far as commercial. And so with O1 designation, it's minimum traffic. If any of y'all have ever rode past a real estate office, you've probably only seen 1 or 2 cars there. We don't generally get a whole lot of traffic. We do property management between the 1st and the 5th. You may have some people coming in to pay their rent periodically. We're aware of, the planning commission's concerns that they expressed. Going O1, we would likely have to add some additional parking. If you look at the front page of the packet, you have the front of the house, which faces Trenton Road. That sidewalk kind of goes out towards Hay Street currently, and there's like a double chain fence doorway there. And what our intention is to just kind of create a drive lane through the front of the property and then have the parking in front to make it more handicap accessible for those that do come to our office. And where the parking is now, behind the house, that's where pretty much our staff would park and enter. You know, we've got, I mentioned the neighbors to the right are all commercial, like right next door to us is a gymnastics studio. 3 buildings down from there is another real estate office. And then inside of the subdivision on Bond Street at the very end is another real estate office that's actually inside of the neighborhood. We're at least on the corner of Trenton and Hayes, where there's nothing but commercial. I did take the opportunity to speak with a lot of the neighbors. I went door to door from Hayes Street, Bond Street, and then Welch, left my information for those that weren't available, spoke to a lot of the neighbors. They were under the impression that it was already zoned commercial. You know, none of them expressed any concern. They were happy to hear that I wasn't going to be demolishing the house. I've already done the renovations to the interior of the house. The day before I closed on it, the insurance company called, because we do short-term rentals as well. And a family, unfortunately, through one of the recent storms, had a tree fall on their house. And as a result, they were trying to find, you know, a midterm rental for them for about 3 to 6 months. I didn't have any that were furnished, but we worked out things, and I was able to turn that property over, and you see the interior pictures from the renovations that I completed. And that family is staying in the house right now until their house gets rebuilt. And so during this period, it'll, you know, continue to be a rental. Once they leave, my intention is just to occupy the residence as our real estate office. You know, I think it's a good project. Very, like I said, very minimal traffic. Like we, you know, had the traffic count assessment done. There weren't really any concerns there. But I'm open to any questions or concerns that you may have about the project.
Thank you. Councilman Shekina, be recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Garrett, for that presentation, and I like the idea of R1 over in this area on Trenton. I definitely don't want to see any more apartments on Trenton. So I like this. Now, reference the pavement. At the RPC, they talked about up to 8 parking spaces, and you have here on the pictures, you have the space, but you have someone renting this property right now. So if this is approved, when are you looking at putting that pavement there for those, to make it more office compatible, right, or office aligned?
So I'd likely start either after they vacate, but they are aware that we may end up doing it beforehand. One of the benefits to that property, for those that have had an opportunity to ride by it, the front yard is completely fenced in, and so is the backyard. And so with it being 1.45 acres, they also have pets as well, so there's plenty of room in the backyard without us really disrupting their lives on the front. And so she was, you know, grateful that one, you know, we jumped to it within a week and a half to completely renovate the house. And so she was fine with us doing whatever we needed to do if we wanted to start early on the front renovations. And so we'd either, like I said, just kind of depending on the contractor's availability, plus getting in touch with the city just to make sure that we did everything within, you know, the compliance to meet the city standards.
And only one entrance and exit, right, into this property. You're not going to try to access Trenton Road and Hayes Street.
Correct. We will not be accessing Trenton Road at all. The fence line is going to stay around the front of the property as it is. We'll just kind of keep that double gate open for cars to be able to come in and out, and probably during non-business hours, you know, just keep it closed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Mentioning the concrete and having to put that in back with the parking spaces, I know that seemed to be a point of contention with the Regional Planning Commission staff. Could you do that now?
I could.
And it wouldn't, so regardless of the zoning, you could go in there, concrete 8 parking spots, and it wouldn't change anything?
That's correct.
Okay.
And wouldn't have to pull any permits. So.
All right. Thank you.
Councilman Clont, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My fellow council member brought up a great point, but I would like to add on to that. You had no issue with adding concrete for ADA compliance. Is that also a fair statement, sir?
That's correct.
So it's parking spots for staff, but also to be in compliant with ADA, correct?
Yes.
Any more questions for Mr. Garrett? Councilman Smith, you recognize.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Garrett, thank you for explaining all the information that we needed to hear. In the front, it looks like you could concrete the front and also make parking lots there. You know, if you didn't have a fence in the front, I don't see the fence. I mean, but on the sides, I see it, but it looked like you could concrete the front up to that walkway and make parking lots there and have extra parking lots. And it's just a thought, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mayor.
Any more questions for Mr. Garrett? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Mayor.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor of ordinance 72? If you would, give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Council and Mayor. William Lang, Billy Lang, 19 Love Street. You know, I live right down the street from this property, and normally I'm against anything on that corner because of the water. I think 01 is probably the best suited in him not tear it down and it end up being commercial like what's beside it, because we all know it's a disaster over there with water. I think the council ought to approve him to go to 01. Thank you.
Questions for Mr. Lang? All right. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak against ordinance 72? All right. Next item is item D, ordinance 73, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Raul Lozano. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of ordinance 73? If you would, give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Jaylee Ramos. I'm representing Raul Lozano tonight. He is looking to rezone 904 Center Road from RM1 to R4. He's looking for that to be matched for the zoning that's set across the street. He did clear that lot last year and removed the trailer because he thought it passed last year. The staff and commission are in favor, and we hope the council is in favor too. Thank you.
Any questions for Ms. Ramos? Thank you. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor of ordinance 73? Anyone in the audience wish to speak against ordinance 73? Next item is item E, ordinance 74, 2025-26, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of KNW Investments. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of ordinance 74? If you would, give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
Kevin Doss. I just want to take an empty lot next to Austin P and split it from, to make it from an R3 into R6 to build 2 single-family homes.
Questions for Mr. Doss? Councilman Smith, you recognize.
Yes, okay. How you doing, Mr. Doss?
Just fine, ma'am. How are you?
Oh, great. That's my ward. You know, I do not like R6. So how big are these homes are going to be width-wise?
They're probably going to have to be kind of like the more skinnier type.
Like shotgun homes like that on 9th Street? They're very, very little, like a box.
Possibly.
So are you planning on making these for families, or are you going to make these for rentals for like students or something like that? Is that what you're planning to do?
Yes, generally for renters for the students or faculty, or potentially sell to a.
How many bedrooms?
Don't know exactly. It's probably going to be a 2-2 or maybe even a 3-2, but I don't want to make it.
You realize how small that lot is? It's right close to the Centerstone. There's not much room there.
It's enough room.
No.
By policy, by code.
Yeah, by code, but that doesn't make it right. It doesn't fit the character in that area. It doesn't fit the.
There's already R6 in that.
No, but the house next to it is not R6. Where's the
Not
R6?
next to it, but just
So
down the road.
Where's R6 at over there? Right there in that area. Where is it?
It's about 2 blocks north.
Oh, it's not on that road. You're talking about where?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but if you look at the map, it's literally like 2 blocks north. So
Yeah.
we're Marion Street. If you're looking at my lot to the right,
Well, it doesn't fit the character in that area, is what I'm saying. And I think that it's going to be a traffic problem over there because a lot of the students park in front of those homes over there all the time. I have had to have the police to move some of these parked cars in front of people's mailboxes over there. Many complaints. I just don't think that fit the character of those box-style homes. And I know you just want to use them to make money off of rentals, but I just wished you would make it a one home, a home for a family. If you want to build something, I just don't think it fit the character over there.
A family can't have a tutu.
Hmm?
A family can't buy a
But
tutu
it's not
home.
big enough for a family. You have nowhere for children to play. You don't have nothing. It's nothing to do with R6. Can't put nothing on it. You can't put a swing or a pool. You can't put nothing. R6 is really.
I would argue that area is not really applicable for somebody to put a pool in there.
I mean,
And the
you're
traffic
talking
problem,
about-
there's no house there, and
But you're talking about for family. You said you want to put two for family. How many children are you talking about, sir?
you don't have to
Someone-
have children to have a family.
What do you
You
call
could make it
family?
a starter home with a wife and a kid.
A what?
I'm a family, me and my wife, we have one child.
Okay. You think that,
That's 2 bedrooms. There's nothing there. There hasn't been anything there.
I just don't think it fit the character in that area. We're
Okay.
trying to build up over there and not make gentrification the way to go over there. I know you want to make rentals, but I just don't think that fits. Thank you.
Councilman Shekinah, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Doss. I have a question, and I'm glad you didn't build that R3 there. I want to ask about this alleyway, because I was over there looking, and the alleyway as it stands right now, it's actually a driveway towards someone's house, right? I know you're familiar with it, right?
Not a
use
drive.
it. They use it
as a driveway,
right?
yes.
So have you talked to that particular family about, something in regards to that alleyway?
No.
No?
Because he's pretty much just illegally driving through my property every day.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I haven't needed to address it yet because I haven't started to build or anything, but I was going to in the future, yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Lovato, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a few questions. In regards to the traffic that was mentioned, you're going to have 2 houses. How many parking spots per house?
Just 2.
So if I have one home, I'll be able to park 2 cars in my driveway?
Ideally, yes, ma'am.
So that would actually eliminate some of the parking on the street then, since it's illegal to park in front of somebody's driveway.
It'd probably eliminate 2 parking spots or so.
One of the issues that was brought up in front of the RPC was some drainage issues. What, are you doing any drainage mitigation over there on that property?
I would have to talk to my builder, and by mitigation, what do you mean?
They mentioned pooling of water, so I didn't know if there was anything in your.
I don't know how any pooling of water would occur. It's pretty sloped property right now, and it would just drain onto the street, but
Thank you. That's all.
I wasn't able to be at the planning commission meeting.
That's fine. Thank you.
Any more questions for Mr. Doss? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor of ordinance 74? Anyone in the audience wish to speak against ordinance 74? Okay, we can allow 2 people. Y'all can flip a coin or arm wrestle, or if you would, give us your name, and you have 5 minutes, sir.
I'm Lydell Jones. I live on 512 4th Street. And that lot he talking about, I moved over here to take care of my mom and stuff like that, and I've been cutting it for 36 years. And Austin P students park around my house and stuff like that. I just tell them don't block the mailbox and all that stuff, and I go up here. If I see a vent going on over there, I kind of go around. I went to Austin P, Lake Cali, the sun all my life. I said, as long as y'all going to school, get an education, y'all good with me. And I got a daughter going over there. They got cousin retired. She RNs at the hospital. Quite a bit of people going. It's been a nice spot for me. I love it every. Man, across the street, we used to about kids safety and stuff like that. Sometimes I go up the road and stuff like that. I see kids run across the road. And I see them go in that building last Saturday over by Austin P. And I kind of look, I said, getting a little bit too close to the campus. 'Cause you know, kids will wonder if you don't keep eye on them. That spot right there, I've loved all my life. That's all I gotta say.
What was your last name again, sir?
Lydell Jones.
Jones, okay. Questions for Mr. Jones? Councilman Shekinah, be recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Jones. The access to the back of your house where all your vehicles are, you've been using this alleyway for about 40 years. If this is approved, what's your intent? Is there any way, I know from the front of your house, it looks like it's gonna be hard to create anything, so.
Nothing. I just want back drive. I just want a way to get in and out. 'Cause before they built Centerstone, it was a back drive back there.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Jones, for coming up. You came up because you are against this, putting those two small houses there. So can you explain to me, I mean, and that's good you stand up for what you came up for what you believe and you're thinking about not putting them two houses there. Can you explain to the council what it is, why you don't want to see those two houses there? Now, I mean,
Because Centerstone there, they got patients down there and all that. And they got a lot down there where they park too. And in and out of traffic and all that, then. And I'm supposed to have a back driveway up in there. And we didn't have no issues out of trying to get in and out of there at any time. If you put a debt right there,
two houses.
and
It's gonna block it.
and they got patients down all the time. And I go through there, I know who coming in and out and stuff like that. We never had no problems. Not with the Austin Peay students parked in front of my house, side of my house, vent things and nothing like that. We never had no issues, period.
Well, I see a sign in front of your house that says no parking.
I just don't want them to block the
Just
mailbox.
Right.
That's it.
Sometimes they
And
do.
I talk to mail service and stuff like that. I catch them and they say, oh, we ain't got a problem with that. And that's okay. As long as I get my mail, I have no problem. Kids going to school and parking.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any more questions for Mr. Jones? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak against ordinance 74? If you would, give us your name and you have 5 minutes.
Giovanni Marshall. I'm speaking on behalf of my aunt, Yolanda Dukes. We're opposed to the zoning property along Marion Street, more importantly, 825 Marion Street and 505 Ford Street, which my family owns, from a R3 to a R6, based on publicly available information on the city's adopted planning framework. We have the following concerns: inconsistency with established zoning pattern. The surrounding area is predominantly medium and low density residential. R6 represents a substantial increase in permitted density and does not function as the transitional district between the existing zones. Approving this request would introduce a level of intensity not currently reflected in the immediate area. Plan consistency. Clarksville's zoning ordinance and adopted plans emphasize compatibility and contextual growth. A shift from R3 to R6 at this location appears inconsistent with those principles and risks, setting a precedence for isolated upzoning without supporting infrastructure or area-wide planning. Infrastructure and safety concerns. Marion Street and nearby local roads were not designed for high-density residential intensity. Increased traffic, parking demand, emergency access constraints, and stormwater impacts are foreseeable and may not have been demonstrated to be fully addressed at the rezoning stage. Lack of need for maximum density and zoning. The permitted uses under R3 already allow residential development consistent with the surrounding neighborhood character. No compelling public necessity has been shown to justify the highest residential density and classification of this site. For this reason, we respectfully request that the city council carefully review this proposal, taking into consideration zoning, regulations, fire safety standards, and the impact on existing residents. I also ask that you halt or reconsider approval of this development under these concerns until they're fully addressed. And my aunt and family have been there over 30, 40 years, and those two residents. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. Councilman Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Marshall, it's so good to see you come forth and speak up for what you believe in and stand up for your neighborhood. I know this would be right next door to the property that you just spoke about.
Yes.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And I know it's been a problem over there with parking, always. Students parking in front of your mailbox. It's crowded over there. I mean, we're not against students going to school. That's not what we're against. We're against the violation of parking in front of people's parking lot, in front of their driveways. They can't get in and out. So I've had those complaints. And so what you read is true and is right. And I appreciate you coming forth and standing up for what you believe in. Thank you.
Any more questions for Mr. Marshall? Thank you, sir.
No problem, sir. Thank
If
you.
you're in favor of ordinance 74 and wish to offer rebuttal, we can allow one person 3 minutes. Mr. Doss, you have 3 minutes if you'll give us your name.
Kevin Doss. Just like to adjust like the parking and or the traffic impact. I mean, we're talking 2 cars, 3 cars, more of a traffic impact. Clearly, Austin P in that area provides significantly more parking and traffic. Maybe I'll give up 2 parking spots for an Austin P, but I don't think that should be at the detriment of building a home for somebody to live at. So that's all.
Councilman Marquis, you're recognized.
Thank you. Under R3, why change to R6? Like, what can you develop in comparison?
I could put 2 separate properties as opposed to 1.
Okay, so.
I can't put a duplex because the current zoning needs 10,000 square foot.
Okay,
And I only have 6,000 square feet
I gotcha.
until the apparent planning commission is changing their requirement in the future. So if I wait 9 months and it
Okay.
changes, I could put a duplex and it would still have the same
same
amount of
amount.
parking and the same amount of people. I don't really want to put a duplex there.
Gotcha.
I'd rather put 2 single-family homes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Smith, you're recognized.
Mr. Doss, you realize that if you do the R1, you can put a single-family home there and put a 4-bedroom there probably, instead of putting 2 small, box-type homes. Because in the R3, you can do a home.
I understand.
home.
Just
And you
trying to
can-
make it more affordable.
It's more affordable in that area if you do the R3 and build a home.
But a 4-bedroom home is more expensive than a 2-bedroom home.
Not necessarily, depends on where it's located, what area.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions for Mr. Doss? Thank you. If you're against ordinance 74 and wish to offer rebuttal, we can allow one person, 3 minutes. If you would, give us your name and you'll have 3 minutes.
Yolanda Dukes. I stay at 825 Marion Street, and where he wants to build his property at is right next to me. And I feel that Lionel Jones stays behind me, and his drive, he has the driveway. Well, it's not his driveway, it's his driveway, but he used that. He has 3 vehicles. There's 3 more vehicles gonna have to go on the street. Austin P students parks in my driveway, they block my mailbox and everything. And I have no way of getting anybody to help me move it. And I get emotional, and I'm sorry. So, because I'm passionate about this. I've been there for 62 years, from 505 4th Street to 825 Marion Street. And I just feel building, the two places there that's taking this, where the, students park at, it's gonna be more people trying, oh, I'm not gonna cry, I'm gonna try to hold it back, thank you. I think it's gonna, thank you. I think it's gonna, add more traffic, because then you have family members, duplex, gonna have people coming to visit, they're gonna have parties over there and everything, and that's gonna add more traffic on the street, when it's already a tight street. The ambulance, the fire truck, rescues, all this stuff can't even go down the road, because 4th Street is a little narrow road. Only one car can go up when the students are there to, park and go into school and stuff. Marion Street is even narrow going up, and they can't, go up and down there neither. And a fire truck or ambulance can't even get up Marion Street. So you want to constantly keep building over there on these little side roads, it's not going to help. Mr. Jones didn't get up here and speak the way that he should about his driveway, because he has 3 cars and nowhere to park, no way to get in and out of his property. He's been taking care of that property for 36 years, cutting the grass and everything. And I understand that people want to make money, but you need to think of the people that have been living in the area forever. And I have grandkids that play up and down that road that can't even play because you have students, cars flying up and down the road and everything and stuff. So I'm asking everybody here to think about what this man want to do. And I want y'all to see that it hurts family members. And I just want y'all to understand that keep building over there, it's not going to make it any better. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Questions for Ms. Dukes?
Please don't.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, we're ready for item F, ordinance 75, 2025-26, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Paul Richard Pinkstaff. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of ordinance 75? If you would, give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
Good evening. My name is David Blessing. We're here asking for rezoning on this property from R1 to R1A. We're not looking to increase any density, as the current square footage of the lot allows for 3 homes or 3 individual lots with a flag lot. So the goal here is to be able to build all the homes on the minimum building setback and lined up so it looks more like what everything else is in the neighborhood.
Questions for Mr. Blessing? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of ordinance 75? Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak against ordinance 75? Yes, ma'am. If you would, give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
My name is Stephanie Fullerton, and I live on Bluff Drive, just around the corner from Fantasy Lane from this property. I am seriously, strongly opposing against the request to rezone this 1 acre lot from R1 to R1A. The applicant is seeking to subdivide a single resident lot into 3 separate compact lots in a neighborhood that was never designed or plotted for small development. The proposal would place 3 individual houses on land originally intended for 1 home, resulting in structures pushed into another setback and easements. Although described as single family, the configuration effectively creates a clustered multi-unit arrangement that is incompatible with the established character and spacing and design of the surrounding community. While labeled single family, this functions as a multi-unit development in every practical sense. Fantasy Lane is a traditional single-family neighborhood, 1 home per lot. That pattern is consistent across the zoning map, allowing 3 units on 1 parcel breaks that pattern and sets precedent that will be impossible to contain. This project will increase traffic, parking flow, strain on the water, sewer, and storage systems that were never designed for multi-unit density. It will reduce privacy, increase building mass, and change the character of a quiet street, along with destroying a large chunk of old-growth forest. Clarksville has numerous abandoned, condemned, and uninhabitable structures that could be redeveloped. Those sites are far more appropriate for 3-unit infill than a healthy, stable street like Fantasy Lane. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Fullerton? Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to make sure you're aware. Yes, it may be one parcel right now, but just as where all the homes were built on Bluff Drive and Candlewood Drive, they were like, I would presume that might have even been one whole parcel that was broken up into individuals, but I can't without looking back on the history of it. But that'll actually be divided into 3 separate parcels. So it'll be one home built on one lot, one home, one lot, one home, one lot, and they'll be relative in size as far as the size of the lots. It's going to be the same zoning as what you've got right now, because you live on Bluff Drive and all the homes on Bluff Drive are all zoned R1A. So it's the most moderate step you can take from going from R1. The very next step in density is R1A, and it's not even changing the density. Like he stated, and I verified this myself today in talking to Mr. Tyndall, right now, as it's currently zoned, he can build 3 lots. If it's rezoned as R1A, he can build 3 lots. The difference would be just like what he talked about, is he could build 3 straight lots, similar to what you see across the street, which is also R1A, versus having 2 lots in the front and a flag lot in the back. So it's not changing the density in any way. And like I said, it's going to set up kind of a similar situation to exactly what you have on Bluff Drive with the R1A zoning.
I will disagree.
Okay.
One lot has one house. This is a 1-acre lot.
But none
You're
of the,
dividing that into 3 individual lots, smaller than a 1 acre, which the average of these lots that are currently there are larger than one of these houses on a third of that.
I mean, and that's fine, but like I said, I just wanted you to be aware
It is
that
increasing the density. You're going from 1 house to 3.
it can be 3 right now. Because it can be divided into 3 lots as we stand today. So, but it is single-family houses that would be going there. Okay, thank you.
Any more questions for Ms. Fullerton? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak against Ordinance 75? Yes, ma'am? If you would, give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
I'm Denise Dudley, and I live on 443 Bluff Drive. I'm with Stephanie on, as she said, and I want to know, is it the 3 houses, are they going to be 0 lot, no yard, no nothing? Okay, and then I'm more concerned over the growth of Russellville, Old Russellville Pike, Cave Road, and trying to get on to Dunbar Cave Road. We just can't withstand more growth in our neighborhood, because you're still building at the other end where Willoughby is, still building apartments, and you're putting all the traffic, and it's very hard for us, and I just don't think we need the growth.
Questions for Ms. Dudley? Thank you, ma'am. We offer time.
Can I have one more minute?
Sure.
And I would like your permission for all my neighbors to stand up that's against this rezoning that has came tonight.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Permission granted, thank you. We offer time for rebuttal. If you're in favor of Ordinance 75 and wish to address the council, please come forward. We have time for 1 person, 3 minutes. If you would give us your name again, please, sir.
David Blessing. Thank you, Ms. Streetman, for clarification on the zoning, the current zoning, and what can be done with it. The goal for this property is to be, like I said, to be able to line them up on the setback so it's more aesthetically pleasing and matches the properties that are adjacent and across the street. Thank you.
Questions for Mr. Blessing? Thank you. If you're against Ordinance 75, we allow 1 person rebuttal. 3 minutes. 1 person. Yes, ma'am. If you'll give us your name, and you have 3 minutes.
Jacob Hambrick. I live on Fantasy Lane. I was asking one of my realtor friends to general consensus of ideas of homes for sale in the 37043. It said there were over 600. So more homes we don't necessarily need. I live at 377, so I'm right next to it. My immediate concerns are how that would change my driveway since it is shared as far as development goes. How that would change Fancy Lane. It's already a very narrow street. I drive a Tundra. I'm passing by another truck. One of us is driving off the road. And add development of 3 homes to that and how long that would take. It would really change how we get in out of the neighborhood. Have some neighbors who would probably have to go around the other way. There are power lines going across that lot, and there is a city sewer access on that lot. Just curious how the city would change that or remediate it, if that would change how my utilities are, lines on my property, and that sort of thing. Fancy Lane is only about 1,500 feet long, about 16 houses there already, adding 3 houses with approximately 4 vehicles. That's 12 extra vehicles, and as it was said, some days trying to get across Dunbar Cave Road can take 20 minutes on Old Russellville Pike, just sitting in traffic. And so, y'all hear that a lot, traffic issues. So those are my thoughts.
Thank you. Mr. Hembrick, is that your name?
Hembrick.
Okay. Councilman Shekinah, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Hembrick. A question referenced the shared driveways. And I know that's a concern of yours, and that's a good concern. Have you spoken with the developer regarding what that looks like if this was to pass?
No, sir.
Would you have your own driveway and things like that? Have you?
That would be my concern. I only just recently learned about it when the sign was put in the yard.
Okay.
So I haven't had a chance to talk to him.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any more questions for Mr. Hembrick? Thank you very much. That completes our public hearing. Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I move we go back into regular session.
Motion been made to revert to regular session, properly seconded without objection. We are in regular session. Councilman Streetman.
Thank you, Mayor. Based on advice from legal counsel, all motions will be made in the form of approval. Ordinance 51, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville. Application of CGH properties for a zone change on 1182 Rossview Road from R1 Single Family Residential District to C1 Neighborhood Commercial District. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 51. Any comment or question regarding ordinance 51? Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I know that the person that spoke today referenced it being commercial and that would allow for anything to go in there that was commercial. This is C1, so it's your neighborhood commercial district. It's the lowest commercial level that you can get. When they originally came before us, they actually had a higher density residential than what it currently is that they brought to us. We asked them to consider something different. They went back to the Regional Planning Commission, and this is what they brought forward as an option to have there. So I just wanted to make sure that we did clarify that C1 is the lowest of the commercial options that you can have.
Councilman Shekinah, you're recognized on ordinance 51.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I walked this area with the developer, and no matter what's there, it's going to be a tight spot. They have to come out on Dunbar Cave Road. They cannot come out on Rossview. Like the gentleman said that opposes it, trying to do a left-hand turn, like in many places in Clarksville, is going to be very, very hard to do on this proposed lot. But I would prefer to see a C1 there than to see anything else there, so I'm in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comment or question regarding ordinance 51? Hearing none, seeing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
8 yes, 5 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 51 passes first reading. Councilman Streetman.
Ordinance 58, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Infinity Investment LLC for a zone change on a parcel located on the western frontage of 7 Mile Ferry Road, 1450 plus or minus feet south of its intersection with Pumping Station Road from R1 Single Family Residential District to R3 Three Family Residential District. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended disapproval. I make a motion for approval.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 58. Councilman Holloman, you're recognized on ordinance 58.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm just going to rehash kind of what we've already said. As far as the residents go and on 7 Mile Ferry and as well as surrounding areas, they're against it. They'd rather have R1 with no development rather than have R3 with the widening of the road and 2 lanes that's supposed to help traffic for some reason. It will not. I don't think it will help traffic. If you have a left-hand turning lane, you have a right-hand turning lane. I use Edmondson Ferry all the time. I watch the traffic. I use the bypass. 80% of the time, you can't make a left-hand turn. So what good is a left-hand turn lane going to be if you can't make a left-hand turn for 80% of the time? That's approximation, of course. But yeah, it's they're against it. So I'm going to be voting against it. And I know a lot of the residents that live in the subdivision, the rental properties across the gully in Kingsbury. They use Gatland to make a right turn onto the bypass, and that's about it because it's so bad they got to use Edmondson Ferry. And so the roads, it'll just add more congestion. And I mean, even the name of the road, like we call it the bypass. Why is it called bypass? It's because it's supposed to be bypassing the city. It's supposed to be an easier route, but now it's not really the bypass. It's just pass, I guess. Because the city has expanded. And so, like, even the original intention of the bypass, the reason it was built, that time has been passed because the city has expanded and it's no longer a bypass. It's just a city. It's just a major road through the city at this point. The road itself, Edmondson Ferry, 7 Mile Ferry, the road is so old, it predates bridges for here in town, if that kind of tells you anything. As far as how old the road is. But that's all I've got. Thank you.
Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. As I said earlier, I've gone back and forth on this one, and Mr. Nunn's not the only resident in my ward that has contacted me that is in opposition to this, because they do go back there regularly, and one thing that's been talked about is the emergency services utilizing the boat ramp back there. But I also sat there and listened to Mr. Rita talk about making improvements. I'm torn both ways, and I'll tell you, part of that goes to Mr. Smith stood up here and told us last week that it would require property to be purchased to be able to be improved. I talked to Mr. Smith today. He's not sure that actually is the case, that we may have the easement there. I would like to make a motion that we postpone this item until the next regular session, and that way we can allow Mr. Smith to come up here and speak in detail on it at the next executive session.
You've heard the motion properly seconded. The motion is to postpone ordinance 58 until the June regular session. Any question or comment regarding the motion to postpone? Councilman Brown, you're recognized on the motion to postpone.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just ready to proceed with this. We'll still have a second reading on this, to where if we have some more discussion with Mr. Smith and something changes, that we could pull it off of consent agenda and, go with it at that time. Thank you.
Councilman Holloman on the motion to postpone.
I'm against postponing. I think we just go ahead and just take care of this now. Thank you.
Any more comment or question regarding the motion to postpone ordinance 58 until the June regular session, June 2026 regular session? Seeing none, hearing none. Okay, we're voting on the motion to postpone ordinance 58 until the June regular session. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
4 yes, 9 no, 0 abstain.
Motion to postpone fails. We're back on the ordinance as presented. Any more comment or question regarding ordinance 58? Councilman Smith, you're recognized on ordinance 58.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a hard one to make a decision on. And I'm thinking about the 2 principles that are in my vision for this city. smart growth, and smart infrastructure. Mr. Reader got up here and he gave us some information that tells me that this is smart growth. This is smart infrastructure. Because he's going to put down some sidewalks, 250, I think, miles or yards, I don't know. A turning lane, upgrade the sewage, put a stop sign. You're getting more for your money. You're doing good for a neighborhood. You're bringing some benefits. Whereas if you just do the 40, you're not going to get anything. So I say, I don't know, I'm torn between it because I know that they don't want it, but maybe they don't just quite understand those who said they don't want it. I think this would help the neighborhood. This is smart growth. We always say we want to get the infrastructure in order before we build. He's letting us know, I'm going to put this infrastructure in order because this is what we have said as a council. Let's not build anymore unless we get the infrastructure right. Mr. Rick Reed has told us what he's going to do. I'm leaning towards voting for this because it's smart growth and smart infrastructure. Thank you.
Councilman Lovato, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I know that earlier I said that I was going to be a no vote. The only reason that I am going to change my vote to yes tonight is because of the contradictory statements from our street department. I don't believe that was intentional, but I do want to clarify it because I want to make votes based on facts. But I will be pulling this from the consent agenda, so that's my reasoning. Thank you.
Councilman Streetman.
Thank you. I will say, in defense of Mr. Rita, usually when he comes up here and says he's going to do an improvement, he has stood by that. I've seen that when it's come before the RPC, but I also do want to clarify that you won't get another opportunity at this once the zoning's approved. The council doesn't get to vote on subdivision plans. And again, I know what I just said, that, you know, generally when he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. But if it's not required, it's not required to be done. There's a subdivision that I have been delaying at the RPC, subdivision plan that I've been delaying at the RPC because it wasn't required to have improvements to the road, and I felt like it should have. So I even asked the street department on 2 different occasions at the RPC to relook at this, and thankfully even the agent themselves decided that they were going to relook at it to make some improvements. But if the requirement's not there and the traffic study doesn't warrant it, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get it. So I do just want to make sure to put that out there, that I know it was mentioned regarding Powell Road, and it was in my ward. I know a lot of people got reached out to about those 800 homes being built. This council had no vote in that because the zoning was already there, and the only people that had a vote on it was the RPC staff itself. So once it gets past zoning, the only people that can vote on it are your regional planning commissioners for your subdivision plans, site plans, and everything involved with that. That's not just this one, but any other zoning case that comes before us.
Councilman Chandler, you're recognized.
Call for question, Mayor.
Question been called. Any objection to the question? There is objection. We're going to put it on the board. I did hear your second, but we are going to vote on ceasing discussion, which is calling for the question. So we will be voting to cease discussion on ordinance 58. As soon as the clerk gets the board ready, we'll be voting to cease discussion. All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
9 yes, 4 no, 0 abstain.
Takes 2/3. We are ceasing discussion. We're now voting on ordinance 58. All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
8 yes, 5 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 58 passes. First reading. Councilman Streetman.
Point of, I'm sorry, because it was a disapproval, did that pass? Is that, I thought it said 9.
I'm sorry?
I think.
Because it was disapproved with the RPC staff and the commission, I thought it needed 9 to pass. Am I doing my math wrong?
Point of order, Mayor, that was presented as for approval.
and that's what we just did.
Point of
It-
order,
The
it has
motion,
to be.
hang on a minute. The motion was made for approval. It came to us with a disapproval from both the staff and the commission.
But the,
It has to be.
the chairman, Ms. Streetman, what they did at the Regional Planning Commission is beside the point. She made the statement and she recommended approval.
And I don't disagree with that.
And then we voted on whether or not it was approval, and that's what we did.
Okay, let me ask legal counsel, Mr. Bittner, if it comes from the Regional Planning Commission as disapproval, does it require more than a simple majority?
Planning Commission with disapproval, you just need a favorable vote of the majority of the entire membership of the council.
Okay, so a simple majority.
Simple, the entire membership, that's the difference, the entire membership.
Okay, all right, which is what we got. All right, thank you for that. All right, Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Sorry, I had to make sure I was on the right one. Ordinance 72, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville. Application of Richard Garrett for a zone change on property located on the northwest corner of the intersection of Trenton Road and Hayes Street from R1 Single Family Residential District to O1 Office District. And I do want to clarify that I know it was stated last week that the RPC and the staff both recommended disapproval, but that was a misstatement. It was actually the staff recommended disapproval, the commission recommended approval, and I so move for approval.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 72. Any comment or question regarding ordinance 72? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 72 passes first reading. Councilman Streetman.
Ordinance 73, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning and map of the city of Clarksville. Application of Raul Lozano for zone change on a property located along the eastern frontage of Center Road, 180 plus or minus feet south of its intersection with Britton Springs Road from RM1 Single Family Mobile Home Residential District to R4 Multiple Family Residential District. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 73. Any comment or question regarding ordinance 73? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 73 passes first reading. Councilman Streetman.
Ordinance 74, 2025, 26, first reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville. Application of KNW Investments, a general partnership for a zone change on property located along the northern frontage of Marion Street, 153 plus or minus feet west of its intersection with Ford Street from R3 three-family residential district to R6 single-family residential district. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 74. Comment or question regarding ordinance 74? Councilman Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. We've heard the concerns of the citizen who live next door to this small property. We know that there are parking issues, traffic issues, and it does not fit the character of the neighborhood. And so we're going to ask that y'all would please give these people a chance and vote no to approve, and do not approve this, is what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
Any more comment or question regarding this ordinance? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
5 yes, 8 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 74 fails. Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
Ordinance 75, 2025, 26, an ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Paul Richard Pinkstaff for a zone change on property fronting on the east frontage of Fantasy Lane, 325 plus or minus feet north of the Fantasy Lane and Candlewood Court intersection from R1 Single Family Residential District to R1A Single Family Residential District. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommend approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 75. Councilman Streetman, you're recognized on ordinance 75.
Thank you, Mayor. I know we do have people that are here tonight in opposition, and I've spoke with some of those on the phone even prior to tonight. But I still have to go back to, we're changing the density from 3 homes to 3 homes. It's not allowing for any more than what would go there right now. You're looking at similar home size, similar lot sizes to what you have across the street, as in they're all R1A. I haven't sat here and clicked on every one of them, but some of those are only 1/4 of an acre that are over there. This is a 1 acre lot that'll be divided into 3, and it can be more fitting with the area to have them 1, 2, 3 versus having a flag lot. You're not adding any more cars than what you would have if you built it today with the 3 lots, because again, it's going to be the same. With it being the exact same right across the street and all R1A right there, it's very hard for me to say that this person that has this property has, no right to be able to change that zoning on it to being the same thing as the property owners across the street. So I'm still going to be in favor of this. I understand where they're coming from, but the construction would be the same if they built today. The traffic would be the same if they built today. It's not changing any of those things, and it's as moderate a step as you can get. It's not as though we're looking at R2, R3, or definitely not looking at R4. So it fits the area, and I'm going to be voting in favor of this one.
Councilman Holloman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Just kind of a theoretical question. If there's no difference and it's the same amount, then what's the point of getting the zoning changed? Because the layout of the lot?
Is that a question you want answered? Or
Just
okay, just throwing it in the air.
whoever, I guess. But it's as long as I've sat up here, it's not necessarily. It doesn't pertain to this one, but it pertains to all of them as well. But we hear every excuse under the sun to continue to build higher density zone for higher density. And yes, it technically, it might be the same amount of units, but it is technically a higher density zoning. And so, we talk about smart growth and stuff and we'd go to higher density because they'll make road improvements. How is that smart growth? Guess what? You got a 30% property tax increase coming up. You know that? Is that smart growth for you? Just something to think about. I will be voting no. Thank you.
Councilman Streetman, you're recognized.
To answer the question, the applicant stated that the reason he was doing this, so it would be more like exactly what's across the street. The houses would be side by side versus having 2 in the front and a flag lot in the back. It's not growth when you're looking at the same numbers.
Councilman Clontz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's important to say the weaponization of the 34% proposed budget. That is all.
Thank you. Any more comment or question regarding this ordinance? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
9 yes, 4 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 75 passes. First reading. Councilman Streetman.
That concludes my report, Mayor.
All right, thank you. We're ready for the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, please read the consent agenda.
All items in this portion of the agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and may be approved by one motion. However, a member of the council may request that an item be removed for separate consideration under the appropriate committee report. Ordinance 65, 2025-26, second reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Batson East Land Company for a zone change on attractive land consisting of 1 full parcel and a portion of another, located on the northern frontage of Edgewood Place, 950 plus or minus feet west of Wilma Rudolph Boulevard and Edgewood Place intersection, from AG Agricultural District to C5 Highway and Arterial Commercial District. Ordinance 70, 2025-26, second reading. An ordinance amending the zoning code and map of the City of Clarksville, application of City of Clarksville for a zone change on a parcel of land located at the northeast corner of Frosty Morn Drive and Red River Street from M2 General Industrial District to PUD Planned Unit Development Residential District. Resolution 58, 2025-26, a resolution approving a certificate of compliance for sale of wine in a food store at Wawa number 7015, located at 1290 Parkway Place. Resolution 59, 2025-26, a resolution approving appointments to the Adult-Oriented Establishment Board, the Arts and Heritage Council, the Common Design Review Board, the Fire Board of Appeals, and the Tree Board. Resolution 63, 2025-26, a resolution approving a certificate of compliance for sale of wine in a food store at Racetrack, Inc., DBA Racetrack number 2550, located at 1810 Wilma Rudolph Boulevard, and the adoption of minutes from April 2nd and April 6th.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'll entertain a motion and a second on the consent agenda. Motion been made and properly seconded on the consent agenda. Any member wish to be recognized? Councilman Smith, you're recognized on the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. Could you put a no vote for me on ordinance 58, 2025-26? I think that's the right one. No, let's see.
It's item C.
I want the one, it's cut off. Is it this? It's the one for the Frosty Morn making it into the PUD. It's cut off on mine right here. What is that?
Yeah, that's
SB.
item B, ordinance
Okay.
70.
Yeah, thank you.
Councilman Peters, you're recognized on the consent agenda.
I would also like to register a no vote on ordinance 70, 2025-26, item B.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be recognized on the consent agenda? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
12 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
The consent agenda is adopted. We're now ready for the Finance Committee report. Chairman Streetman, you're recognized.
Ordinance 67, 2025-26, an ordinance authorizing the exercise of the right of eminent domain to acquire easements and rights of way for utility improvements required to facilitate design and construction of various projects. Both the Finance Committee and the Gas and Water Board recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 67. Any comment or question regarding this ordinance? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
11 yes, 1 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 67 passes first reading. Chairman Streetman.
Ordinance 68, 2025-26, first reading. An ordinance approving the conveyance of certain real property from the city of Clarksville, Tennessee to the Clarksville Montgomery County Museum. Both the Finance Committee recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 68. Any comment or question regarding this ordinance? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
11 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 68 passes first reading. Chairman Streetman.
Resolution 55, 2025-26, a resolution authorizing an interlocal agreement between the City of Clarksville, Tennessee and Montgomery County, Tennessee pertaining to utility relocation at the intersection of Rossview Road and Rollo Lane. The Finance Committee and the Gas and Water Board recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of Resolution 55. Any comment or question regarding this resolution? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
11 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Resolution 55 is adopted. Chairman Streetman.
Resolution 56, 2025-26, a resolution authorizing a memorandum of understanding between the City of Clarksville, Tennessee and the Clarksville Arts and Heritage Development Council. The Finance Committee recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of Resolution 56. Comment or question? Councilman Smith, you're recognized.
Yes, I don't know who can answer this question. I just want to know what this memorandum of understanding entails.
Chairman Streetman.
hold on one second, Mayor, I'm going to get it pulled up. This is just where the Clarksville Arts and Heritage Development Council has helped fund the design and execution of an IRA statue, and it's going to be placed at the L&N train station.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any more comment or question? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
12 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Resolution 56 is adopted. Chairman Streetman.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 60, 2025-26, initial resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $42.5 million in aggregated principal amount of one or more series of general obligation bonds of the City of Clarksville, Tennessee. The Finance Committee recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion made and properly seconded in favor of this resolution. Comment or question? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
12 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Resolution 60 is adopted. Chairman Streetman.
Resolution 61, 2025-26, a resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $42.5 million in aggregate principal amount of one or more series of general obligation bonds of the City of Clarksville, Tennessee, authorizing the issuance of bond anticipation notes prior to the issuance of the bonds in an amount not to exceed the maximum aggregate principal amount of said bonds, making provisions for the issuance, sale, and payment of said bonds and notes, establishing the terms thereof and the disposition of proceeds therefrom, and providing for the levy of taxes for the payment of debt service and the bonds and notes. The Finance Committee recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of this resolution. Comment or question? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Resolution 61 is adopted. Chairman Streetman.
That concludes my report, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Neighborhood and Community Services Committee, Chairman Shekinah, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. For the long-awaited Neighborhood and Community Services Committee report, we have a busy month for May. On the 13th of May at 11 a.m., Appalachia Service Project for the tornado recovery new home dedication. For over a year now, the Appalachian Service Project has been going on, and they've been working diligently in the community, rebuilding homes for families affected by the December 9th tornado who lack the means to rebuild independently. So many of these new constructed homes have been presented to residents who are renters at the time, and now they will become first-time homeowners, mortgage-free. 13 homes have recently been completed across the community. The dedication ceremony will take place on the 13th at 1321 Cedar Street, and that's the site of the final 3 homes currently under construction. So please join us on the 13th of May to express gratitude to the Appalachian Service Project for their gifts of grace and to show support for these deserving families. Also on the 13th of May, at 5:30 p.m., we have a public input on the City of Clarksville acquisition of 1485 Golf Lane property. The City of Clarksville Community and Neighborhood Services Department will host a public meeting to provide information and receive community feedback regarding this proposed acquisition of property located at 1485 Golf Club Lane. This meeting is intended to provide residents, nearby stakeholders, and community members with clear information about the proposed use for the property and to gather input prior to further action. The city is considering purchasing this property for $400,000 using the Community Development Block Grant funding, so no taxpayers funding. This will again come from the Community Development Block Grant funding. The site has been evaluated for the use as a community service facility, focusing on addressing key gaps identified in Clarksville, including case management services for at-risk families, seniors, and other vulnerable residents, to include housing navigation and financial independence. Also, we're looking at affordable care, child care services, and that being identified as a critical need for family self-sufficiency. And then we're looking at additional support services to be determined based on community need and input. In addition, the site would be used to provide severe weather shelter operations, offering temporary, life-saving overnight accommodations during extreme weather conditions only. For members unable to attend, please contact the Director of Community Neighborhood Services, Ms. Michelle Austin, for future details and to provide feedback. And the office number to get in contact with the director is 931-648-6133. Again, that number for the Community Neighborhood Services, 931-648-6133. Moving on to the 27th of May, we have our Clarksville, Montgomery County Joint Housing Advisory Committee. This committee will convene for its first meeting on the 27th. This committee was established to serve as a collaborative, advisory, and educational body, focusing on addressing local and regional housing challenges. Using the findings from the 2024 Housing Needs Assessment as its foundation, the committee will help strengthen coordination among public, private, nonprofit, and development partners while promoting informed discussions around housing policies, market conditions, neighborhood preservations, affordability, workforce housing, and long-term community growth. The committee brings together representatives from local government, planning development, housing, finance, education, nonprofit organizations, and economic development sectors to ensure a broad range of perspectives are represented. For more information, again, contact Ms. Michelle Austin, the Director of Community Neighborhood Services, and again, that phone number is 931-648-6133. Let's move on to the 27th of May at 1 p.m. From 1 to 3 p.m., we have the Opportunity Zone 2.0, Clarksville Briefing. It's going to be at Austin Peay State University, College of Business, the Kimbrough Auditorium. So join the Tennessee Economic and Community Development and the Tennessee Housing Urban Development Field Office for this meeting. Whether you are a community member, economic developer, elected officer, or elected official, developer, investor, financial institution, nonprofit, a foundation, or just curious, this training will provide the latest on the 2.0 incentive and how to leverage its use in our community. Hosted by the Clarksville Neighborhood and Community Services and the Clarksville Montgomery County Economic and Community Development. All right, lastly, let's move on to July. We have some things in June, but I'm not going to talk about June until the next meeting. So I'm going to tell you just something very important that's coming on the 8th of July. So save this date. We have a faith-based housing education cohort information meeting. So this faith-based housing education cohort will equip local congregations with the knowledge and tools needed to engage in housing solutions within the community. Through education, collaboration, and technical assistance, participating faith organizations can explore ways to support affordable housing development, provide housing-related services, and partner with community organizations to address homelessness and housing instability. Mayor, that concludes my report for Community and Neighborhood Services.
All right, thank you for that. Any question regarding this committee report? Seeing none, we're ready for Parks and Recreation Committee. Chairman Zacharias, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Opening day for the downtown market is Saturday, May 9th. And Parks and Rec would like to invite you to join us every Saturday through, October 3rd to shop local and support your community. Browse a variety of vendors and offering fresh, locally grown produce, unique handmade goods, and delicious treats. It's the perfect way to spend your Saturday. The 50-plus games return on May 11th. Competitors will face off for bragging rights and medals in a variety of events, including basketball, golf, bowling, and pickleball. Open to adults ages 50 and up, this exciting event is a great way to stay active, connect with others, and enjoy some friendly competition. And then finally, Parks and Rec is hiring. So if you are interested in serving the city as an aquatics team lead, an event facility manager, grounds and facilities maintenance assistant, interpretive center assistant, lifeguard, Parks and Rec superintendent, Parks and Rec instructor, recreation aide, recreation programmer, special events setup and maintenance, summer youth program site director, or a youth camp assistant, please reach out to Michelle Austin. No, I'm sorry. Through the Parks and Rec website at clarksvilleparksrec.com.
What's that phone number? Never mind.
I don't know.
911.
It ends in 33.
Okay. Thank you. Any comment or question regarding this committee report? We're ready for a Public Safety Committee. Chairman Lovato, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'm going to start with Clarksville Fire and Rescue. On May 1st, we promoted Scott Jackson to captain in the Fire Prevention Division. On April 30th, Engineer Scott Wise retired with 29 years of service to the city. And on May 15th, CFR will conduct its United Way hot dog lunch. You can go to headquarters between 11 and 1, and you can pick up 2 hot dogs, chips, and drinks for $7. And I do believe Chief Montgomery is going to be cooking. On to Clarksville Police Department. They have a few events. On May 9th, the Riders Against Dangerous Driving is going to be hosting a motorcycle safety event from 11 to 4 at the Clarksville Regional Airport. And this is a free community-focused event to promote motorcycle safety awareness. On May 16th, the STAT class will start at the Civic Hall building. You can contact Carrie Ann, not Michelle Austin, for more information. This is a 4-hour class for high school students between the ages of 15 and 19. And this class will cover things like driving responsibly, rules of the road and procedures, speed awareness, and Tennessee traffic laws. And also be on the lookout on the Clarksville Police Department Facebook page for the teen CPA class that will start in June. On to building and codes, just a few highlights. Construction Division did 2,785 total inspections. Code Enforcement did 574 new cases. The Abatement Division did 40 work orders, and their total revenue generated was a little over $342,000. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any comment or question regarding this committee report? Seeing none, we're ready for Transportation, Streets, and Garage Committee. Chairman Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. The TSG reports for the month of April are as follows. Transportation transported a total of 42,254 riders on fixed routes, including 8,719 senior citizens who rode for free. CTS also transported 5,155 riders on paratransit vehicles for a total for the month of April, 47,409 riders. That concludes the report. We will now move on to the city garage. I have no report from the street department. City garage report for the month of April, the total number of citywide orders were 365. Fuel purchases made by the city garage for on-site fuel pumps. For the garage, unleaded total cost was $140,820 for total gallons of 39,895. For the outlaw field, unleaded total gas was $31,987 for total gallons of 8,420. There was an increase in the unleaded gas of 14.6%. It was $3.28, and it rose to $3.76 per gallon. And the last delivery on that was April 29, 26. Fuel for diesel also increased by 9%. It was $4.36, and then it was $3.96 per gallon, and the last delivery was April 28th.
it decreased. I said it increased, I'm sorry. There was a decrease in the diesel fuel, okay, a decrease of 9%, okay? Because it was $4.36, and it went down to $3.96. And that concludes my reports for the TSG.
All right, thank you for that. Any comment or question regarding the committee report? Councilman Clont, you're recognized for a question or comment.
Comments.
Okay.
CTS, Youth Ride Free, May 1. I think that's a great program. Just wanted to plug that again.
Thank you. Yes,
Thank
all
you.
school students K through 12 ride free effective May 1st. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any more comment or question regarding this committee report? All right, we're ready for new business. Resolution 57, 2025-26. Councilman Chandler, you're the sponsor, so I'm going to ask you to read the caption and make the motion, and then we'll come back to you for explanation. Oh, I'm sorry, I got to turn your mic on, excuse me.
A resolution requesting the Regional Planning Commission to perform a study with regard to Title 11 zoning, Chapter 11 Administration and Enforcement, Section 11.11 amendments affecting the same parcel of land, and return to ordinance for consideration by the Clarksville City Council. And I make a motion for approval.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of Resolution 57. Councilman Chandler, you're recognized.
I discussed this in fair amount of length last Thursday. You can see tonight how much time we spent on zoning cases. Years ago, it was you get one bite at the apple, you get one shot at the target. If you miss, then you have to wait 12 months to bring your zoning case back before us. These zoning cases, as much as we're growing, are not going to go away. They're not going to be any less. So this is for us to go back to the original way. Again, there is a fail-safe under Robert's Rules of Order that a council person that votes in favor of the way the vote turned out, they can ask for it to be brought back up. An example would be if we voted on something tonight, I voted no, and it did get turned down. I was on the prevailing side. I could bring it back up and try to get it back on again. That takes a little more doing than what way the system is set up now. That's it.
Councilman Streetman, you're recognized on this.
Thank you,
resolution.
Mayor. The original way was this wasn't in existence at all. You could come back and bring it over and over and over again. This was put into place so that people couldn't just keep bringing it back or withdraw it, turn around and bring it right back. And so people wouldn't keep showing up and they could finally get it through. This was put into place, and in the 8 years I've been on the council, this has been the rule. And if somebody wanted to bring a zoning case back again prior to that 12 months being up, a council member had to bring it forward, and it required 3/4 of a majority in order for it to even pass. So it took 10 people to agree with that council member that, yes, there's a valid reason for us to be able to look at that again. In the last 5 years, and I'm just using the same data that I pulled back in December when we were discussing this, that in the past 5 years, there were 7 occasions that this was brought to the council to request the ability for them to be able to reapply. Out of those 7, 3 passed, 4 failed. Out of those 3 that passed to be able to go back, let's see, 3 passed, 4 failed, and of those 3, only 2 passed on the second attempt and 1 failed. This, in fact, I was talking to a constituent today, and their exact comment to me was, it sounds like you guys are finding a solution for a problem you don't have. 7 times this has come forward. We had 6 zoning cases tonight. So this is not like this is something we're dealing with on a regular basis. It's obviously a rarity that in 60 months' time, it's only been brought forward 7 times. And again, you have such a hurdle to get over with requiring 10 votes. It's not as though it's easy to be able to come back. Mr. Tyndall stood up here and said when we talked about this back in December that he didn't see a reason for us to have to change this because there are times that things change, and therefore you want to have that as the ability, if need be, to be able to look at it. And as a reminder, as I said before, this also keeps the same rule that's right here. One of those 2 that came through, or 3 that made it through, that one never even got voted on by the council. If it's not approved for rezoning, they can't bring it back forward. So if it starts the process and never comes to the council for a vote, they still have to wait the entire 12 months, even though they weren't voted down. I see no reason for us to change this when, again, we're trying to find a solution to a problem we actually don't have. Oh, and I also want to point out that it takes it's less of a hurdle to remove this rule altogether than it is to be able to relook at this. Granted, I would not be in favor of removing the rule altogether, but the point is that it would only take the majority of the council to do away with this, whereas, again, it's going to take 10 people off this council agreeing to allow them even to apply again.
Councilman Shekineb on the resolution.
Yes, Mayor. We hashed this out last week, so I want to call for the question.
Well, unfortunately, you can't make a comment and then call for the question, so.
So somebody else call for the question.
Councilman Chandler, you're recognized on your resolution.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me do a little backup there for my esteemed colleague, Ms. Streetman. First of all,
Can I stop being called by name, please?
Councilman Chandler, if you don't mind, just reference her by ward name, ward number, please.
okay, well, that's well and good, but I'm sitting here looking at it, and we got it on TV, and I figure everybody that wants to go on the internet. Okay,
Okay, hang on.
you just need to settle there and be quiet.
Hang on,
I
no,
did not
wait a
interrupt
minute.
you.
Whoa, wait just a minute.
I did not interrupt you.
Okay, Councilman Chandler, you have the floor. Let's be polite.
I'm trying, Your Honor.
I know.
Don't tell me that it's never been this way. I can cite the case and look it up for you. It was out on Pictures Mill Road at Kenwood, just below Kenwood Church, across from Kenwood School Complex. The church was wanting to, it wasn't Kenwood Baptist Church, it was down below, was wanting to sell the property because they could not build a church. They couldn't afford it. It came before the council. It was voted down. The next meeting, a councilman brought it up, and it was read out of Robert's Rules of Order that under the Wallace-Redd rule, which Wallace-Redd was councilman before Ward 10, sitting council person was there, and the city attorney said, yes, that follows the guideline. My last comment is going to be, and I said it and I'll say it to the day I die and to the day I come off of this board. The Regional Planning Commission's job is to recommend. It is our job to legislate. And when they wake up and realize that, it'll be a whole lot smoother. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Haywood, you're recognized.
I call for the question.
Question's been called for. Any objection to ceasing discussion on Resolution 57? Hearing none, okay, we're voting on Resolution 57. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
5 yes, 8 no, 0 abstain.
Resolution 57 fails. We are now ready for the next item under new business. Before we get to that, I want to publicly say to Councilman Claunch from Ward 2 that I apologize for interrupting you last week when you were about to make some comments, and I'm squeamish when attorneys get involved in matters, and that's why I wanted to cut off any comment that may or may not have been able to be used for or against us. So that's why I did that. So I do apologize to you. was not to be meant to be disrespectful, just to be out of an abundance of caution. All right. We've got an item that we have a member that wants to discuss, and it requires a 3/4 majority for us to discuss it. Mr. Bittner, you're recognized on this item.
If I may, I'd like to assert the attorney-client privilege and go into a closed attorney-client discussion regarding the Ajax Turner Center and the threatened litigation that we may be looking at, as they brought their attorneys here last week, made the announcement, they were representing them. And so what I'd like, if you agree with me that we can go into this session, if I could get a motion to recess into a private attorney-client session, please.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of going into attorney-client privilege private session. Any question regarding that motion? All right, all in favor, let's put it on the board, Madam Clerk. There, all right. We're voting to go into attorney-client privilege meeting. That's a simple majority. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
That motion is adopted. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to ask you to leave the council chambers while we go into attorney-client privilege meeting, private session. We will reconvene after the attorney-client privilege session. Mr.